Hey everyone, today is Thursday, the 16th of January 2020. This is The Gap, episode 499. I'm Luke Lawrie. Joab Gilroy is here, and we're back for another year. How you going, Joab?
Oh, yeah, pretty good.
How's your break?
Yeah, good. Just pretty relaxing, I guess. Pretty harrowing. I don't know if you know about this all the way over in fucking California, but Australia's on fire. And yeah, so that's pretty different. I mean, it's not as different as it could be. We are regularly on fire. We have a bushfire season, but yeah,
Not like this one.
still, this is the worst it has ever been, and yeah, it's pretty fucking bad. Like there have been like multiple days. It's been like a real adjustment, because yeah, I can't sleep with the house open, which is weird in summer, right? Because every house gets fucking 10 degrees hotter if all the windows are fucking closed, and it's already fucking hot. So yeah, it's been sleeping with the aircon on and all this kind of shit. So that's pretty fucking weird. And yeah, you wake up. My wife, I don't leave the house, so it's not that big a deal for me. But my wife bought like a
Bane mask.
like a fucking. I've got one. She bought me one too, but I don't need it because I don't go outside. But
Yeah.
Fucking... Oh, you were born in the dark.
I was merely born in the bushfire.
Yeah, it's been weird. So fucking obviously, I think we're primarily an Australian podcast. I think most of our listeners is from Australia.
I think we got a good split. It's like, I'd say 40-40 maybe?
Yeah.
US...
That doesn't add up to 100.
Well, no, because the rest of it is, I think, UK. We've got people everywhere.
Awesome. Well, yeah,
for the most
anyone
part.
listening from outside of Australia might not realize. I mean, I guess it's been all over the news. I know it's getting international attention and stuff like that, but it's pretty fucked. Like, it's pretty fucking bad. But we got some rain today, which is really good, really nice. And
too much rain now. Oh, you can't fucking win, can you, Joab?
No, I'll take any fucking rain. I love it. But yeah, it's been weird. It's been a weird fucking Christmas break, holiday break, whatever the fuck you call it. Because yeah, you just wake up every morning to new stuff, and like I've got friends who live up in the Blue Mountains, and we've been like talking about them coming down, like possibly having to come down, and they're like split whether or not they come down to stay here in Five Dock, or if they stay there to try to save their houses and shit, save their entire livelihoods and stuff. Just fucking, it's pretty cool. So yeah, if you are listening and you're not directly impacted, it's totally worth donating to one of the many places, rural fire services, or like each state has a different rural fire service and stuff like that. Obviously, at some level we all feel that we shouldn't have to, because the fucking government should probably be fucking doing something about this. But it is what it is.
You can't do that because you're on holidays. Got to go to Hawaii, of course.
Of course. Fucking, what a fucking spat. Anyway,
I've seen a lot of like video game publishers and developers getting behind it. I saw a post, I think, in the last day or so that Ubisoft is putting together like a skins pack for Rainbow Six Siege, and they'll be putting proceeds towards donations. So that's pretty cool. It's just...
Call of Duty is doing it as well.
Yeah.
They've changed. They've just basically changed one of their packs, the Outback pack. And they've just they're donating all the profits, effectively profits. They said they use some different term, but yeah, I think it's net proceeds, which is profits, to the yeah. I'm not sure which one exactly they're donating to. They've all got different ones. I believe it's Red Cross. Red Cross is sort of the international one that you can always donate to. That it even helps places that aren't in Australia, which is obviously good. Australia's not the only place impacted by the effects of climate change. But if you want to donate directly to Australia, yeah. The other one that's going on is the hashtag Game Devs for Fireys, which is sort of a twist on Authors for Fireys. A bunch of authors around the world got together and donated a bunch of stuff, and it's sort of like a Twitter auction type thing where you pledge a certain amount, and once you actually donate it and you show proof of the donation, you get the whatever they've auctioned off. Yeah. Game Devs for Fireys is the same thing. A bunch of awesome game devs and game related people in Australia are doing that sort of stuff. Auctioning off all kinds of stuff like limited edition. I've seen like game journos doing limited edition like press packs and stuff that you'll never ever see anywhere else, which is pretty rad. And like one-on-ones to talk to a narrative designer, or like limited edition, like the game director's own signed copy of I think it's Hand of Fate, and like a copy of the Hand of Fate rulebook for a tabletop game. That's from obviously Defiant.
Gearbox is doing stuff.
Yeah, Gearbox is doing something, and yeah, all kinds of like from like the big guys all the way down to littler things like just auctioning off basic like advice and stuff from people, which is it's awesome to see people coming together and trying to help out where they can.
Well, the Prime Minister giving someone a bag of food,
a single bag, a Woolies bag of food, or a handshake that they didn't want.
Multiple. He gave multiple of those.
Multiple people did get that. Not to, sorry, I didn't mean to, sell you short, scummo. But multiple people got that. It's fuck. It is honestly like a fucking Armando Iannucci fucking comedy at this point. How fucking inept these cunts are. But anyway, So anyway, that's my bummer notes start off 2020 podcasts.
Can only go up. I mean, unless on my side of the world they continue to start this war with another country, which then it could get worse.
Very easily go down.
Hopefully make it till at least April, where we can play Cyberpunk, and I'll be happy.
Look, Cyberpunk. That's our stretch goal at this point. I'm hoping we make it to episode 500. I know it's only a week away, but anything can happen. Anyway, speaking of, episode 500 is next week.
Yeah.
Huge. Everyone's been putting in on the Gap page in the best Gap moments. We've got heaps of great Gap moments. And obviously we've got some of our own favorites as well. So we'll check that out and put something together. And by we, I mean Luke. Yes.
Yeah. And so I was thinking for next week we go through a bit of that, but also because it's like a lull or there's not much happening in this time of the year. Like today will be a big episode because we got a lot of stuff we've talked about over the 3 weeks we haven't podcast. But I was thinking next week we do like a most anticipated or like what's coming out this year and talk about some of the games that are like we're really looking forward to, and obviously like new consoles this year, 2 new consoles, which is gonna be pretty big. So that'll fill some space up next week, I think. So maybe send us any suggestions, people games people are looking forward to.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Definitely send us anything in that you'd like us to talk about. It will be a bit of a filler episode, only appropriate because as far as I can tell, the only game that I'll have that's new to play is Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, which I believe will be 99% filler. Should be good.
And then hopefully the next couple of weeks, should be start picking up again. March has got some releases and preview events and whatnot, so yeah. Yep. But anyway, how about we start off with some going off track a little bit, as we do over here, and talk about The Witcher. The
Witcher TV
Netflix TV series that came out. I think it was on the 20th, around then, on Netflix. And this is a TV series starring Henry Cavill, aka Superman. And it is based on the novels, I guess, or the short stories that were written. So it's not really tied to the video games, but at the same time, it is. Like, they're going around saying that it's not, but it definitely is.
Yeah. It's definitely got its influences.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's not entirely independent from the video games. I can't even think of, like, maybe Trespasser, right? Trespasser was the Jurassic Park game from fucking way back in the day. I'm on a dinosaur video game thing at the moment. But yeah, it was more closely tied to the book than it was the movie.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? This would be this is not, like, it didn't really take any influences from the movie at all. Or I guess a couple of models. But yeah, this definitely feels the influence of the games. 100%.
And it's hard not to as well, because Henry Cavill's been pretty open about when he heard about them making this series, he basically jumped at it because he was a massive fan of the games. He'd played at least 2 and 3. He said he played 3 multiple times, and so he jumped at the opportunity to try and get on board with this project.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember watching an interview with him I think it was IGN, and they were doing like a round table with a bunch of the actors and asking sort of like, who would you like to play as a video game? And he immediately went to like The Witcher. I've heard they're making it, and I'm doing everything I can to like get onto that. So he was on from day one, and he's talked about like the voice that he kind of went for, and looking at the actor from the video game, and you can it is pretty. It's not close, like it's not exact, but it's pretty close. I feel like Henry Cavill is doing a little bit deeper, his voice, and like a little bit more gravelier, but it is very much influenced by the actor from the games. But yeah, the TV show. We might avoid spoilers for that, but we'll just general sort of thoughts about what we've seen so far. Have you watched all of them at all?
Yes.
You have. Okay.
Yeah, I watched it all in like 2 days.
Yeah. I think the same thing. We watched it all in about 3 sittings or something like that. I actually really enjoyed it. The first episode is weird because the first episode I was a bit iffy about. Just, I don't know, something to do with... the first episode I really liked, actually. I thought it was awesome. So good. I love the opening of, like, introducing him, as the Witcher, like, this character, getting to know him. The fight choreography was awesome.
I thought that initial fight, the cold open fight, I thought that was a little bit goofy, if I'm being honest. But,
really?
Like,
it was...
after that.
I mean, because...
With the fucking tech.
Yeah, but it looked cool because it didn't look like a low budget, like, we're getting one of these, like we're getting like when you watch like NBC's Agents of Shield or something, and it's like a low budget like Marvel show, and you can see like,
I just finished watching
Infinite Crisis.
Yeah,
Infinite Crisis.
Crisis on the Infinite Earth.
I haven't watched it yet. I've got it DVR'd.
I won't spoil anything, but
effects.
there is a fight scene in it that looks like it's direct out of the fucking PlayStation 1 era. Yeah,
but at least like that opening of like, okay, this is the caliber of film like a TV series we're going for. We're gonna get like a high budget. Like they put a lot of money into this. That's what I liked about sort of that opening shot. But yeah, the rest of the episode I thought was really good. I liked what they did with the character, the sort of like one shot fight choreography that they did towards the end of that first episode was awesome.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
So I thought it was a fantastic like introduction to that world. Really, really high class like fantasy, like not holding your hand into this world. And then I sort of started to fall off around 2 and 3 when they started introducing other characters and sort of having it focus more on them. So The Witcher is not directly following Geralt as the main character. It's got the other two characters, so Yennefer and Ciri as well. It's sort of like the trio sharing their stories. And at that stage, I was like, I don't know if I like this. Like, I want to see me some Witcher, like doing some monster shit. And then it really changed for me again. Then the next 2 episodes, I was like, oh no, okay, I'm back on board with this. I like what they're doing. There's a thing that happens in around the midpoint where it really shifts up the tone of what's going on, and I thought that was really cool. And then by the end of the series, I was like, yeah, I really enjoyed the arc of the 3 characters and what they did. So I started off being like, I don't really want to follow these 3. Like, I just want it to be about The Witcher. But then by the end, I was like, actually, I'm pretty invested with the other. Like, I really liked what they did with the Yennefer stuff. The series stuff can, a bit hit or miss, but I really liked what they did with Yennefer and telling her, like, arc of the story. So yeah, overall, I really dug it. My wife did not like the first episode. She was like, I think you can watch this by yourself. And then basically we watched the second and third, and she was like way into it. And then when it ended, she was like, are you kidding? They're gonna like, where's the rest of it? Like, I have to wait another year type thing. So yeah, she was like way on board by the end of this. So yeah, I really enjoyed what they did with it. I know it's divided some people in terms of the way it sort of tells its story, but I thought it was really interesting and great. So yeah,
I did not like specifically. I did not like a narrative device that they used. I don't know how to fucking explain it without spoiling shit.
I think it is hard to talk about because I feel like it is a huge spoiler. Because they try and
I fucking hated it. I thought it was fucking dumb. I thought it was explicitly fucking dumb. And it was put in literally because they lack the fucking faith in their own product. It is one of the fucking most cowardly moves I've ever seen in a fucking TV show. And it pissed me fucking right off. But like, even beyond that, even beyond whatever it is I'm talking about right now, anyone who's watched it, I'm sure knows what I'm talking about. Maybe doesn't agree with me necessarily. Most people don't seem as annoyed about it as I know I am. But yeah, like I know it ticked off a lot of people. Like, they're vaguely annoyed by it. I just thought it was fucking like really hurt the show for me. Beyond that though, that fucking show needs. It doesn't matter. Like, by the end, you've got a really good idea of places, but that show needed fucking title cards to tell you where places were, because everyone in that fucking show, now we're gonna go to, and you're like, what the I don't understand a fucking word they're saying. I can't fucking, like, where are they going? Where are they now? What fucking city are they in? Because they all sound the same. None of them are spelled the way you fucking think. And you're like, I guess they're back at the wizard fucking... I guess they're back at Hogwarts now? Just because all the fucking wizards around? Fucking, I don't know. It looks like it's a hall. It's a medieval hall. They're in a medieval hall, but now there's wizards instead of fucking... dude's trying to bang Ciri's mum or whatever. Like, I don't fucking know. I'm out of fucking ideas. Yeah, they just needed fucking title cards. Like, I would go further. I would add one more thing, but I won't say what the fuck that is because we're in spoiler territory in that specific instance. But yeah, title cards where the fuck they are at the bare minimum. Because beyond that, right? Like, I guess they figured, people understood the difference between like King's Landing and Winterfell, and
because it's in the intro.
Yeah, it's fucking spelled out for people. That's the thing, right? That's what they didn't fucking.
Yeah,
that's the connection that they didn't make. They're like, well, Game of Thrones didn't need title cards. Yeah, because it had it in its titles. Like, fuck. But yeah,
they have. Anyway. In saying that, I know they have released a like a map or some sort of like interpretation of what that location looks like. I haven't seen it, but that's not part of the show. Like, it's not physically like in the show. It's just like it's side thing. Yeah. Yeah.
It's annoying. But yeah. Otherwise, I fucking loved it.
Because I don't understand where these places are and where people are in relation to other people. Like, yeah. But yeah, I thought it was I think you said.
I thought it was awesome. Like, I loved it, except for that one specific thing. Drove me fucking nuts.
Yeah. But the other thing that you're talking about, which we're not talking about, is I actually liked that. I thought it was a cool moment. Like, there's shows recently that have done like similar, not similar ideas, but have done like the twist thing where you think something's happening, but it's not. It's something completely different. I think The Watchmen is something that comes to mind where they have like there's a moment in that where you realize, this is something completely different. Like, okay, fair enough. And so like figuring that part out in your head before they actually blatantly tell you what is going on. Like, you can put the pieces together. Like, when the thing happened, I was like, this is what's going on. And my wife was like, yeah, because they were they're talking about this, and this, and yeah. So like, she was paying more attention to it than what I was fucking doing. But at the same time, she was like, do you need to, like, do you feel like you're getting more out of it having known the game? Like, are you understanding the plot? And I think that's kind of what was getting her a bit. It was a lot, like, it was very full on at the start. And I obviously knew some of the characters and whatnot. But like you said, like, the getting a grasp of where this stuff is all happening would have been maybe a bit more important. So hopefully, they take the feedback from this season and they keep going, because I think it's a really good jumping 100%. Off point. I would absolutely watch way more, heaps more of it. I really liked it. And I thought Henry Cavill was amazing.
Yeah.
Like,
yes,
he's finally had a chance to do something that's really good, because I think it was one of the top 3 shows on Netflix for the year or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
It was, or forever. And it was only out for
like 2 months or something. Yeah. 6 of the year. Yeah. That, and he was in Mission Impossible, just to fucking clarify. He was good in that. So
he's good in everything he's been in. It's just generally most of the stuff is not favorably, it's not received well.
I'm saying Mission Impossible is fucking good. Okay.
Yeah, so but him as like a lead. I mean.
Okay. Fine. What was it? Oh yeah, I watched some other TV shows. If we're talking TV shows, real quick.
Sure.
Watched His Dark Materials. I've never hated anything more than His Dark Materials. It ends on a fucking bullshit cliffhanger, and I will not be returning for season 2. I fucking hated it. I hated every single fucking moment of watching it, and I watched all of it. It does not usurp Bosch as the worst show I've watched an entire season of, but it's fucking close. It did its fucking best. I think if it wasn't for what's his face, Lin-Manuel Miranda, it would have outdone Bosch. And I didn't like Lin-Manuel Miranda in this all that much either. Anyway, so yeah, there's that, and I watched Chernobyl. That made me cry a bunch. That was really, really upsetting. And I watched something else. What the fuck else was it? It's like It was very nerdy. What was it?
Hmm.
What was it?
Big Bang Theory.
That's what it was. The nerdiest show of all time. Only for real nerds. You know, real nerds only apply. Please and thank you. No, what the fuck was it? This is going to kill me now. It was really good. I think it was on like HBO or something. Oh, no, yeah, it was Infinite Crisis, right. That wasn't on HBO.
Yeah.
Yeah, never mind.
It just ended yesterday, right? Last night?
Yeah, I just wrapped up yesterday.
Yeah. I've been saving it. I want to watch the whole thing.
All at once, yeah. Well, have you been watching the other shows?
Oh, no. No. I've only ever watched... I'm watching the last season of Smallville at the moment.
Right.
But no, I've never watched Arrow or Supergirl or... I watched a little bit of Supergirl.
Yeah.
A couple episodes of that. But I'm not, like, up to date with whatever is going on. I just... hoping I don't need to be at that stage when I watch this thing.
Good luck. I didn't watch any of the other stuff, any of the shows leading into it, but my wife has watched all of it, and she was extremely helpful because, good lord, it would have been tricky otherwise. But yeah, anyway. It was good. It had good moments, but yeah, it's confusing if you don't watch all the stuff. Yeah. Anyway, so there's that.
Video games.
Good. Games. Yep.
I might kick off because I have something for you. Let's go back to The Witcher. Toss a coin to your Witcher, Joab. That's a good song.
All right. I did not like that song.
Some news broke while this TV series came out that The Witcher 3 had surpassed its concurrent player count, which was over 100,000 people playing at the same time, which is more than what it was at when the game was released in 2015. And so it ended up being, I think at one stage, like it was in the top 10. It was about 6 on the list. So up there with like PUBG and Dota, Counter-Strike, Grand Theft Auto, those types of games. And this was all like a resurgence from, I guess, the Steam sale, but also the TV series coming out at the same time. My friends list, I saw a lot of people on my friends list playing this game as well.
There are a lot of people in Discord playing The Witcher, yeah. Like, it became very popular out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And, I don't know if you remember, but I made a video 6 years ago now.
The one where you were wrong.
No, 5 years ago now. The one where I'm wrong. As thousands of people have messaged me to tell me.
Did that start up again?
Oh, 1,000%. It was fucking popping off. It was popping off. Lots and lots of people coming in to tell me that they beat it on death marches, which just isn't fucking relevant. It's not relevant at all. Meanwhile, anyone who actually listened to, I got a message from GGG Man Lives, the YouTuber.
Mm-hmm.
We play games sometimes, and he's like, I watched your video, and you're so fucking right. I thought I was fucking crazy. And then I went and looked at the comments, and what the fuck is going on? Like, did anyone watch your video? I'm like, people watch your videos, okay, dickhead? They don't watch my video. They just look at the title and fucking pop off. Anyway, so I should look at stats, see how many minutes per view. Yeah, because that would be interesting. Yeah. I can, but at the same time, I don't want to. Actually, by the end of December, the comments had like swung back in the opposite direction.
Oh.
Like I started to get a real influx of what are you people talking about? He's completely right. And why are there so many dislikes on this video? There's twice as many dislikes as there are likes on that video. Yeah, but I was considering just turning comments off because I was getting seriously like 5 to 6 notifications a day, and I only get notifications for like every 2 or 3 comments, and I'm just like, I just don't give a fuck. I do not give a fuck. Like, what? I already refuted every fucking argument you dumb fucking motherfucking ass is fucking making. Like,
but you should reply to them, like on the actual reply back and be like, you're wrong, and that way they get a notification, they come back to your video. It's not click. Come back. Yeah,
but see, the thing is, I'm not partnered by YouTube, so I don't make any money. So I've got no incentive.
I thought you were monetized
for YouTube. I was, and I got demonetized.
Oh.
So YouTube makes money off my shit, and I don't make any money, which is why I don't post stuff on YouTube anymore. Right. This is fucking pointless, It's pointless. Fuck YouTube. Fuck YouTube. Fucking pricks. Anyway, so that was fun.
Yeah, The Witcher ended up back on like the top Steam charts, and I was one of those arseholes. I jumped back into The Witcher, and I've put in about 40 hours of it since.
Really?
Since the TV show. Yeah. I jumped back in. I've been doing like... I've been playing it a little bit differently to when I played it the first. I've played it like through one time, including the Blood and Wine DLC, which I think I reviewed. I can't remember. Or I did a preview for. And so I played through that, and then I've played through like another sort of halftime way back when. And but this time, I'm just sort of jumping on through it again and doing like side missions and all that sort of stuff. So I'm not just like mainlining it, and playing a different sort of playstyle this time, as opposed to the like putting all my stats into the combat. So I've sort of boosted up my fast attack and my strong attack, but that's about it at the moment. So those 2 boosts just kind of give you more attack damage. And this time around, I'm putting a lot of points into spells and potions as well. So the first time, I basically pumped a lot of stuff into fire and combat when I played it. And so this time a little bit different playstyle, which I'm enjoying. So I'm using like the spells a lot more. Things like the magic trap and the alternate sign modes, which I don't think I even used the first time I played it. So that stuff is really cool. Just like the way that you can sort of change up your approach to combat situations with different types of playstyles and whatnot. So I haven't dabbled in the potions as much. I've sort of got like 1 or 2 points into potions, but otherwise the majority of my stuff at the moment is into spellcasting, which I have a lot of fun with. And man, that game still holds up. It's been 2015, so if we're going on 5 years now. The standout thing of that game is obviously the writing. Just like, it's really good. I'm still listening to all the writing in it. Like, I'll read everything, like, all the text on the screen, talk to characters, the stuff that isn't necessarily like the gate, or the sort of like the gateway to like, oh, this will get you to the next bit of dialogue. Like, I'll do all the side dialogue and that sort of stuff, because sometimes that opens up other dialogue options as well. But like, I'm not trying to speed run or anything like that. I'm playing at my own pace, reading everything, talking to everybody, doing side missions, like trying to go through as much as I can, and I'm digging it. It's so good. There's a reason why it was, our game of the year that year. And you can see a lot of inspiration from where sort of games have picked up what that game has done. Red Dead Redemption in particular, just in terms of like the way they did their stumbling across a thing like out in the middle of nowhere, like you can see the influences of things like The Witcher, where you'll just come across like a broken down cart with a bunch of dead bodies, and then you can use like your Witcher sense to try and figure out what happens here, and that'll trigger, some sort of side quests and things like that. There was a mission I was doing I was doing a mission last night, and Geralt made a comment about like the smell in the area, and like, oh, it smells like a deceased, like a corpse or something like that. Nothing came up on my screen to say it was a quest or anything. He just made this comment, and so I stopped and was like, I was in town, and so I turned on like my witch's sensibility and started walking around, and eventually found a corpse like in a bush.
Yeah.
Examined it, and then that kicked off like a mission. I'm like, okay, cool. Like that sort of stuff is really cool. So yeah, I'm again really enjoying it. Combat, not great, but at the same time, like I have fun playing it the way that I play it, which is a really, really like slow paced, using all my potions and abilities and preparing for fights and that sort of stuff. They've fixed the movement in one of the patches. They made like an ultimate movement mode, which sort of leaned away from the slower, like taking your time to walk and like giving him momentum when he moves around. And I know that was something a lot of people really did not like with Red Dead Redemption, like when you press forward, it really takes him a moment to step forward, or when you're trying to stop, like it takes him a moment to really slow down and get into his position. And when you're turning, like it's not exactly a really quick turn. You've got to really, it takes him a bit of time to do all this stuff and opening drawers and whatnot. And that was something The Witcher was doing, and people didn't like, and so they put in like this alternate movement mode, which allowed you to move like you would expect video games to move back then. So at least it's still in there. You can kind of toggle between the two. I like it in the... I actually like the ultimate mode a lot better in saying that. So I'm playing it that way. They obviously tightened up things like the combat. Made changes with the combat systems. Some of the stuff that they made changes to, which I really like, is the crafting materials no longer take up room. So you're not really spending a lot of time micromanaging how much crap you've got and figuring out like what you need to sell, because that stuff doesn't take up any room anymore. Whereas in the original like patch 1.0, like you're like, all right, well, fuck, I've got like 10 combs. Do I break them down or do I sell them? Like now it just doesn't matter. You just kind of hold on to them. And you can just run around as much as you want. So the things that are taking up most of your space these days are your items, like your armor and weapons and that sort of thing. And you've got more than enough space to sort of deal with that at long periods of length. Like occasionally you'll have so much crap that you just go back to town and sell it, or you junk it, or you dismantle it. Like they've definitely streamlined that a lot more. And that's like one thing that I don't like in games these days. Like they try and go for this encumbrance system that is just finicky and it's not fun to play. Like I understand why it is there, so you're just not picking up everything, but at the same time I want to pick up everything and I want to get like really deep into the crafting system. And so that is one aspect of the game that I've dived into a lot more this time, because I'm able to pick up all this crap. And so I can be like, all right, well, I've got all this stuff. What potions can I now create? And there's so many potions in the game, and so I'm doing a lot more stuff with the potions and oils for your swords when you get in certain combat situations and a lot of that sort of stuff. I'm running one mod at the moment, which is for the auto oils, which will automatically apply an oil to your sword depending on what type of creature you're going up against or what type of creatures are in the area. So if you're going up against...
so you're cheating then?
Yeah, I'm cheating. No, just speed. It just means I don't have to go into the menu and apply the oil or use the quick bar depending on what I've got set to. So that stuff is really handy to have as well. But otherwise, That is the only mod that I'm running at the moment. I know there's a bunch out there, things like reshaders and unofficial patches. Since the TV series come out, people have been putting like, you can put Henry Cavill's face on like a face swap type thing. Um, there's a lot of stuff out there that's really weird, but for the most part, the practical stuff that I kind of wanted it as vanilla as possible, like that type of experience. So, yeah. Um, so yeah, I don't know if there's much else to say about it, but I can understand like why people are really playing that game now. Like you want to sort of invest more time into that world and jump back in with those characters. I really liked The Witcher 2 when I played that. It was kind of like Witcher 2 wasn't a big game. Not a lot of people played, and it wasn't until The Witcher 3 was showcased at sort of like E3, it really started to get people's attention. And so being able to play like that game again and sort of experience that world and see things that I haven't seen before. There's obviously areas that I run to and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this. And then there's places where I'll do a quest and I'm just like, I've not done this quest before. Like I do not remember this part.
Yeah.
So yeah, just going through all those moments again is a lot of fun, and I think it definitely still holds up for if you want to go back and replay that game. It's not like one of those games where you're playing like, oh, this kind of feels a bit outdated, like it doesn't really work. But because they patched it so many times and put in a bunch of features in there, like quality of life stuff that make the game sort of easier to run, and for easier to players to jump in and play, it's helped them a lot because it sort of extends that longevity of being able to enjoy that experience for longer. So I dig that game a lot. I'm gonna keep playing it. I kind of want to. I think I'm gonna finish it at some stage. It's been I'll chuck like 6 or 7 hours into it straight one day and just sit there and play for a bunch. And yeah, it's really good. I've only just gone to like the second. You start off in like the tutorial area in White Orchard or Orchard, and then you go to the sort of like the main hub, and then later on you get the boat and you go to Skellig, and that's where I've just gotten to now.
Yeah, right.
In my 45 hours or something that I've played, I don't know. Total, I've got 130 hours in that game across my other playthrough. So I'm thinking I'll probably get to, I don't know, 100 and maybe 70 ish, because I already had like 90 hours clocked up into it before I started this playthrough.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm digging it a lot. It is very good, and I am. It's making me even more pumped for Cyberpunk. Just because I want to see what they've taken, like learning from that game, and then how they're going to incorporate everything they've learnt from it, and then putting that into a first-person RPG with crazy storytelling. Because yeah, man, I think it's gonna be something special. I think it is gonna be really good, so I'm pumped. I'm very pumped.
I can't wait for the inevitable backlash from people who think some indie game deserves to be laudable.
Yeah.
Anyway, shall we talk about some other video games that came out within the last couple of years?
More games. Yeah, more games that came out in the last couple of years. Yes.
Sea of Thieves.
Okay, yeah, we jumped into Sea of Thieves.
We played some Sea of Thieves. I had a 4-person crew. Me, Nate, our mate Gerald, and you. You were playing, I believe, in my game. I was the captain. So you were playing in my game. How'd you find the lag?
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, we've played before, so.
Yeah, that's like, but like, it just reminds me of how good that fucking game. Like the first thing I think we ever fucking commented on, before Sea of Thieves was even out, was that it was so good playing with people from around the world, because you just didn't notice any fucking like network inconsistencies. And it's such a fucking huge deal for, like, I don't know, making it playable. to as many people as humanly possible.
Right. Yeah. It's not like a Twitch shooter or anything like that, so it doesn't really. You can't really notice it.
There's like stuff. There's moments where lag could heavily impact your experience, but it just doesn't. Like there is PvP. It's not like it's entirely PvE. So yeah, you could really feel the impact of lag, and you just never do, which is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think the intention was to
do a tall tale.
Classic Sea of Thieves, but yeah, the intention was to do a specific tall tale quest, and we just never went around to it. We played for like fucking 3.5 hours, and we never did the fucking one thing we signed on to do. So got kind of distracted going for all kinds of shit. We did an Ashen Skull Fort, which was significantly fucking harder than I guess we expected, and then the old Skull Forts. Old Skull Forts, you kill wave after wave of skellies until a names guy shows up, and he takes a bit to kill, and then you get some loot. That ain't the case here. Holy fuck. You kill wave after wave after wave after wave of skellies, and then you have to kill like multiple waves of named enemies, multiple named enemies at once.
Yeah,
like all this kind of shit. It's fucking hairy. I reckon if a storm had showed up, I probably would have pitched that we leave. It would have just been too much hassle. Like we already had one person sort of hanging out near the ship, or at least lingering and doing sort of peripheral support to make sure that we didn't like get fucking ambushed.
Yeah, it was
by another boat. Yeah. And yeah, like that was already happening, and it was fucking tough. And you'd duck in and help out a little bit, but most of the time you were making sure we didn't get fucked.
Yeah, because there was a boat like off in the distance, and it parked on the next island across from us, and I'm like, they're just gonna sit here and wait. Wait for it was
suspect. That's what we would have done. That's 100% what we would have done.
Yeah. And then another boat rocked up, like right next to us from the other side.
Like
of the
literally
island.
just parked in. And he just started helping.
He started helping. He could have definitely lit us up.
Yeah, he was a single person sloop, so he would have had a fucking rough go of it because we're also quite good at the game. But yeah, he could have had a fucking go. He could have just parked his boat and like sunk us. He would have had a fucking decent run at it. Like, it doesn't take that much to sink a fucking like you can make those big holes now. And set shit on fire. Like, big boats can go down pretty fucking quick, as I think we found out, right? Like, we did get sunk at one point.
Yeah, we did.
That was mostly because
Gerald.
We left Gerald. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So he could have actually sunk us. I mean, it's way harder to be a single sloop, but there, like, if you know what you're doing, you can fucking do damage. Now.
Especially when three of us weren't on the boat.
A parked galleon is like explicitly difficult to fucking deal with, like to keep fucking up. You can keep it up long enough for your teammates to spawn back in because that's only fucking 15 seconds. Sorry, most people can keep it up long enough for your teammates to spawn back in because it's only 15 seconds. Gerald can't, but most people. Good players, decent players, average players, below average players. Terrible players, however, they can't do any of that. But yeah, no, we are. Yeah, so we sunk him. I just sunk his boat. I didn't need the psychic trauma of having another fucking person nearby. So yeah, I sunk his boat, and then we killed him and sent him packing because get the fuck off. You don't get any ass shit. We're doing this all on our own.
We've been doing it for a while. Yeah,
we'd been doing it for a while at that point. But yeah, it was extremely lucrative, like extremely lucrative in terms of what we got out of it. All kinds of like cosmetic bullshit and all that kind of stuff. You know, I bought fucking pets I bought a fucking bird. You
Yeah,
bought a
monkey.
fucking monkey. Yeah, just dumb shit, which is always the case. Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves is purely a game about the experience
Hmm.
more than the destination itself, which I guess is why I continue to get upset every time everyone says Death Stranding is 2019's game of the year, because finally understand why they finally understand the meaning of the phrase, the journey is more than destination. Finally understand it. Like, you fucking fuck, are you serious? Play something good. Fuck. Anyway, so fuck Death Stranding. Sea of Thieves is still great, and I would absolutely love to play it again.
Yeah, they announced a new patch, or they put a new patch out today for it, which adds some new stuff to the game again, cosmetics and new rewards. I think some new voyages as well.
Cool.
And then the other thing they announced was that the game hit 10 million unique players. So I think it's
That's huge.
the biggest new IP or something like that.
Right.
Can't really remember. But yeah, it's done really well for them. So it's good.
Yeah. They did a fucking amazing job of turning it around. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. All right, should we keep going here? What else do we got? Let's talk about another game that people were adding to their Game of the Year lists. The Outer Wilds, not the Outer Worlds.
It's not the Outer Wilds. It's just Outer Wilds.
Oh, Outer Wilds. Okay, I'll get rid of that part.
Get rid of the the.
So
Lose
yeah,
the
lose
Outer
the
Wilds is cleaner.
I checked this one out because it was on a
Yep.
lot of lists and a lot
Seems
of.
like it's your sort of game.
Seems like it's. Well, is it? Maybe
Yeah.
not.
Really?
Played about an hour of it. It's a weird game, man. I don't know. Maybe I needed to play it longer. You kind of start off and you're this weird alien creature. You are on this planet, and it seems like it's a tutorial area. You're going from like station to station, picking up different objects, and it's kind of telling you how to use these objects. Or sorry, not even picking up objects. You kind of just got them on you. Things like radio transmissions and weird telescopes and whatnot. And eventually you get in this museum and you're tasked with this job and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, that whole area, it lasts like 30 minutes or whatever. And then you get on a spaceship and you start navigating to different planets. And it doesn't really tell you what you're supposed to go out and do. You kind of just go out and start exploring. And yeah, this is kind of where the game really lost me. Like, I've heard a lot of people talking about it in terms of it's a game about exploration and kind of just finding your own way out there in this solar system or this universe they've created, and then piecing the story together yourself and solving puzzles and whatnot. And so yeah, I get on the first planet and I'm sort of just looking around and reading weird inscriptions and deciphering codes and whatnot. And for whatever reason, the I don't know what happened to the planet, but the ground was shaking or something, and then all of a sudden I was in space and the planet was gone. And I don't know what happened at that point. I thought I glitched out of like onto geometry or something, and then it flung me somewhere. Like, I still don't know what happened. Anyway, the planet I was on wasn't there anymore, and I was just floating around in space. And I did that for like 5 minutes while I waited for my character to die, because you basically got like oxygen and whatnot. And I couldn't fly anywhere. Because the planet I was on was completely gone. I wasn't anywhere near the planet anymore, so I don't know what happened. Anyway, so the character died, and then I went on. It reset me back to the starting planet, but I didn't have to go through all the crap that I went through. I already had the thing that I needed, which was the launch codes for the spaceship. So I jumped back on the spaceship, took off, and then went to another planet. And this planet was, not much else happened here either. I walked around for a bit, did some exploring, found some more weird writing and whatnot. went through some teleporters, and then eventually, I think I jumped in a black hole. That's what it looked like. And then I was back out in space again, floating out in space near some rocks. And then I spent the next 5 minutes floating around in space again. And then I quit. That was my experience with the Outer Wilds. Yeah, man, I don't know. Just didn't grab me. I don't know, I was playing it wrong or something. But
it's pretty weird, yeah.
I feel like that first planet, something happened, or like I glitched out, and I don't know where the planet went that I was on, but it was not there anymore. Yeah, and then the second planet, I guess I shouldn't have jumped into that portal that put me out in the middle of space. So
it's always super tricky with games where you know the roguelike experience where your personal growth and character growth are very closely tied together.
Sure.
Because if anything does go dramatically wrong, it can be very difficult to work out. Like if knowledge is one of your key takeaways,
which is what that game is about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, if something goes wrong in the game and you learn the wrong thing, it can be very difficult to come back from, almost impossible to come back from, which sounds like is what's happened here. Because I'm surprised, because it definitely struck me as your sort of game.
I actually bought it.
Wanky, do nothing bullshit that you fucking love to tell me to play.
Yeah. No, I actually bought the game on Epic Game Store and refunded it. And then at that stage, I didn't realize it was on Game Pass. So I've got it on Game Pass as well now. And I might get back to it at some stage, but my initial impressions of it, I've heard everybody I've heard talk to seems really good. Just the 2 lives that I had did not grab me. I felt like that first one must have been a bug or something, because a planet shouldn't just disappear. Or at least give me a reason as to why it would just
something you can take from it. Yeah,
like, okay, that all right, I guess I'm in space now, just floating around. After the then jumping through a portal or whatever and ending up in space again, I was like, all right, I guess we're back here. The thing was that really, like, it's not like I died from something. Like, I was just in space for 5 minutes because I couldn't, like, there was no, how do I kill myself or reset or whatever? Like, I'm just wasting oxygen now. Like, all right, I guess this is what we're doing. So yeah, just 2 like bad experiences straight off the bat, where I was like, oh, I might come back to this at some stage, but we'll see. So didn't get me, but maybe I'll get back to it at some stage and maybe it'll be better. So that was my experience with Outer Wilds.
Maybe you just need to wait until you go away from a game and you come back and you've got no idea what the fuck you're doing anymore.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't understand. And you come back, and maybe that's what you need to do. Maybe you need to reset mentally.
Yeah.
Speaking of resetting mentally, Slay the Spire onto our next game. Came out last year. Was huge on people's lists. I think it slipped my mind for Game of the Year stuff. I don't remember if it was in my top 5 or not, but I think it's purely because for me, it came out in 2018 is when I played it mostly. Primarily because I didn't do a lot of trips in 2019, but it was my favorite fucking playing game. 2.0, the patch 2.0 came out yesterday, and I have played I've literally put in another fucking like 5 to 6 hours since yesterday. 2 of them on my fucking Surface, because they fixed the touchscreen bug that had plagued it since it first launched. The touchscreen bug meant that you had to double tap to confirm everything.
Right.
And it just didn't make it feel like a good fucking touchscreen experience. It was very fucking annoying, basically.
Because it felt like a mouse and like double click.
Yeah, exactly. You had double click, but you were tapping, and it's a touchscreen. Like, fucking focus up. But yeah, they fixed that. It's fucking awesome. It works really good for me. And yeah, they added a new character, which is like spectacular. It's called the Watcher. She has like these stances that she enters, and a good run sees you manipulating these stances. She's got like a Wrath stance where she does double damage but takes double damage. She's got like a Calm stance where, depending on what you've got. In case you don't know, Slay the Spire is a roguelike card game, basically, which is sort of like adventure mode in Hearthstone, but good. And like, when I say good, I mean, Hearthstone's obviously balanced around the concept of, the PvP experience, the core Hearthstone experience, whereas Slay the Spire is balanced entirely around this fucking adventure mode, and like has been, coming out for fucking 2 years. So yeah, like, it's not a diss at Hearthstone to say that Slay the Spire is a good version of the adventure mode. It's literally created to be that concept, but good. Like, yeah. Anyway, it's if you're more familiar with board games, it's a deck builder, which is like that legendary game that we never played, but we unpacked and got drunk unpacking, Legendary Predator. And yeah, like you start off with fuck all cards in your hand, and as you move through this tower, you get more cards, and when you die, you go back to the start of the tower with the basic cards in your hand, and you got to build again. And each time the cards you get offered at random, and you got to build. It's basically you've got to analyze. I think the trap that I fell into for a long time was analyzing what I thought I wanted and creating a deck that built towards that. But what you actually want to do is analyze what your deck needs, and build your card to fix the holes. So there are all sorts of, like, it's very tricky to work out what the holes in your fucking deck are when you're first starting out, because you, like with a new character especially, because you don't really know what that character does. But yeah, I noticed I had a game just before we podcast this morning. I basically woke up and started playing this. While you guys were playing PUBG last night, I was playing this. Like, I'm like, it's the 2.0 update has fucking grabbed me by the nuts. But yeah, like for the first couple of games, I'd completely forgotten, and I was like building towards certain things in the Watcher, because obviously I was still learning it, but even after I felt like I had a good handle on it, I was still building towards, I'm gonna make a deck that does this. I'm gonna make a deck that I can swap between Calm and Wrath at any time, or I can there's another stance called like Divinity, I think. And to get there, you have to get a certain amount of this. I can't remember what it's called, like mantra, I think. And I'm like, I'm going to build towards having as much mantra as soon as possible, so I can have Divinity. And Divinity allows you to do triple damage, and you don't take extra damage, but it only lasts for 1 turn. So if you can build up a bunch of Divinity in 1 or 2 turns, and then do triple damage, and then build up again, then you can like cycle through a fuck ton of damage. And yeah, like I was still building towards that one thing without like really paying attention to the holes that I had. And so when I inevitably failed, it was because I wasn't able to soak, I wasn't able to deny damage when I came up against this dude who had 999 fucking health, and he would do damage based on, like, he would do increasing damage based on how much damage I had done last turn, and he would die after 5 turns, which I think is bugged, because I had a card that skipped a turn. But it didn't skip a turn for him, which was annoying. So it put me straight in. I was able to take another turn immediately, but I guess it didn't count as one of his turns. Whatever. Anyway, so he would do increasing amounts of damage. So I got my mantra up. I I got my mantra up. I skipped the turn. I did a fuck ton of damage immediately, and so he wasn't able to do any damage on his turn. But the next turn, he did my entire fucking health bar damage because I wasn't built. I was built to fucking do like a fuck ton of damage in one go, and this dude had way more health than I could like possibly imagine doing. Like he's got more health than bosses do. And yeah, like the trick was he would die in 5 turns, but I had to actually last 5 turns, and my entire build was not geared around doing a moderate amount of damage. It was so yeah, I hadn't really built my way. I built myself into a corner basically, and I hadn't really taken account what might come. I've never seen that do before, so in some ways it's not my fucking fault. But like, yeah, I had absolutely built myself into a corner, and that was the mistake I made coming back next later Spire, was forgetting to not build myself into a corner. I'm midway through a pretty successful play at the moment. I am definitely building myself into a corner again, but I've recognized it, which is, I think, the growth pattern of one of these games is recognizing when you are doing something and doing your best to fix it. But at the moment, pardon me, I'm doing. I've got these cards that I mark an enemy with 8 mark points, and when they get mark points, anyone with a mark point, when I use the mark card, takes mark damage. Okay, so I will put 8 points on someone. It's really good on single targets. It's moderately good on multi targets. And I put 8 points on one person, 8 points on another, and when I put the 8 points on the second guy, the first guy takes 8 points of damage, and when I put 8 points on the third guy, the first and second take 8 points of damage. But if it's single target, I put 8 points, and that dude takes 16 points, and then I'll put another 8 points, and he takes 24 points, and I'm able to like triangle number my fucking way up this 8-point fucking damage scale until like after a couple of hands, after a couple of turns, I'm doing fucking. I could probably kill the 999 guy before the 5th turn was over. I've got that many fucking these cards, and I've got like other things that allow me to like power up and increase my fucking mana and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I've got like a lot of. I've got a pretty good like grasp on how this one's going to go. I have no idea how Mark works against this dude who does like if I come up against 999 dude again, I'm not sure if I'd be able to fucking do anything. But because Mark actually does the same amount of damage plus 8, I would be able to negate his strength buff, provided I had another mark card in the next turn. So, yeah, specifically against that one dude, I'm pretty well off. It does the damage behind armor as well. Like, doesn't care about armor. So, like, it's a good build so far. I'm not sure how I'm going to fuck this one up. I'll definitely fuck it up. But so far, I'm on 3rd tier and like halfway up it. Just beat an elite. And yeah, I'm feeling pretty fucking confident about this run. Can't wait to see how the fuck it. But yeah, it's awesome. Like the new character's fucking cool. You wind up in these situations where you're just doing fucking dumb amounts of damage, like the kinds of damage that you never fucking did with the other ones, or I never did with the other ones. Because of the crazy amount of ramp that this character has, the ability to just turn it on after a couple of turns. Yeah, like she's got all kinds of fucking crazy. These mark cards are capable of fucking crazy amounts, doing double damage, crazy amounts, triple damage, and not taking extra crazy damage. Being able to like switch between Wrath and Calm is pretty good. You've got like these cards where they'll come back into your hand when you change stances. So you enter wrath form. So you do 4 damage. You enter wrath form and you do 8 damage. You enter calm form and it comes back in, and it costs no mana to cast, or energy, not mana, but it costs no energy to cast. And so you could, like, it comes back out of your discard pile, back into your hand, and you're able to play it again. And so, yeah, you're able to, like, do, if you've got enough fucking stance change cards, you can actually do a lot of fucking damage. When you exit calm form, you get 2 energy back as well. So you can actually, like, put together these massive fucking turns where you just keep fucking dumping.
Yeah.
You get some relics where, or powers where, you know, the more attack cards you play in a turn, the more strength you get. And suddenly, yeah, like, it's not doing 4 or 8 damage. It starts doing, like, fucking 20 damage. And then you just keep fucking playing it over and over again and building more strength and changing stances and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's really cool. It feels like there's no time limit on turns. So it feels like those sick fucking plays I used to see from, like, Hearthstone players, where they do that. I do this and this and this and this and this, and that person goes from, like, 30 health with 30 armor to nothing in a moment, like one turn kill type shit. And you're like, that's fucking amazing. And then I go in, I go on the internet, go to Hearthstone, I download their fucking deck, I get all the exact cards that they've got, and then I go out to do it, and I fuck it up every single time because there's a time pressure on me. And I'm like, oh god, no, I gotta fucking do this, and then I do this, and then I've played it in the wrong order, and I fucked everything up, and now I will die. And yeah, there's no time pressure, but at the same time, there's a lot of other stuff going on that increases the pressure on you and forces you to make some really, you know, difficult choices. And yeah, anyway. It's a killer game. It's definitely worth. If you've got a fucking, it's the best playing game. It's flat out the best playing game. You will lose hours and hours playing on some plane, and it is so just a one more turn type game. So yeah, it's worth checking, 100%.
Yeah. I just had a quick look. It's still on sale on Steam.
Is it?
Yeah, it's 50% off at the moment.
Do it
for the next 18 hours. So,
our Patreon subscribers will get this hearty recommendation, and I don't know if it'll be there for anyone else. I might.
Otherwise, it's back up to full price.
Yeah, right. But yeah. Anyway, it's worth it at full price. I paid full price for it, and it's fucking worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't know. It's got a $8.50 soundtrack that you can buy as well.
Right.
I play it with all the sound off, so I've got no idea.
It's a podcast game. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Exactly. Anyway, that's Slay the Spire. Do you want to talk about another fucking?
Yeah, another game I didn't like. Let's keep it rolling, eh? Let's go with Battle Chasers.
Yeah.
That's not the full name. Battle Chasers Nightwar. Did you ever get a chance to play this? This is the Airship Syndicate RPG in the
what?
Developed by the studio that made Darksiders Genesis. So it's sort of like a THQ, like the old THQ team. What was the team's name? Visual Games.
Right.
They made Darksiders.
Right.
Joab was creative director on Darksiders.
Okay.
And this is their first, I think it was their first game that they put out under this new sort of studio banner.
Right.
And it's currently on Game Pass. And so I jumped in and checked it out because I like all their games that they've made.
It's based on a Joe Mad comic book.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like this was a Kickstarter.
Oh, okay.
I'm just checking now. Yes, it was Kickstarter campaign. Because I remember we must have talked about it. I'm pretty sure we did. Anyway, yeah, I don't like it. It's a mainly because of the combat. So it's an RPG game where it's the really weird mix of like this world map where you go from point to point and you can initiate these RPG style like turn-based fights in, and then there are dungeons which are more elaborate, like you walk around with a character and then you run into enemies, and that initiates the turn-based combat system, sort of like I don't know, Final Fantasy VII or like old school Pokemon sort of thing. Yeah, the biggest issue that I have with the combat is that the way the turn-based system works is you initiate, like each character's got like a time of when they can attack, or like how long it will take them to initiate an attack. And so that figures out like the placement of when someone's going to attack on your team, and also when the enemies are going to attack. And so it'll get to your point like, oh, it's your go-to attack. And for the most part, like if you're just a damage dealer, you can do like a basic attack. And then the character will, attack. But if you're like, oh, I want to do like a spell, well, then you look at the spell and it's like, oh, this is a slow spell or a medium spell. And then that spell takes more time for them to attack. So it's your go, but now it's like, oh, you've got to wait a turn. And
so it's like some initiative shit.
Yeah, and then so now all of a sudden, like, oh,
intuitive.
It's not like it's my go, but because I want to do this specific spell that adds more time to my attack, and so now I've been pushed down further in the queue, and it's actually going to be my turn down here. And I think that becomes a problem because you end up with situations where, and this is basically why I quit, your healers just don't have the ability to heal. Because by the time it's like, oh, I'm going to do a heal, there's no point anymore because you go, oh, I want to heal, and then they get moved down the chain. All of a sudden, the person you're going to heal has taken even more damage. And so like you end up on this just downward trajectory of there's no point even, like you're not out healing the damage you're getting, you're just sort of delaying the inevitable. And you're kind of guessing like where you should put your heals into because, oh, maybe if I heal this person, they'll actually have damage onto them or something like that. And so I just wasn't having any fun with that gameplay mechanic, the combat system. So these dungeons that you get into are sort of like roguelike dungeons where if you die during it, you go back to the very start and you got to jump back in and do it again. And I was like 45 minutes into this dungeon when I'm like, I do not like this combat system, like where it is taking me with this healing stuff. I'll get into a tricky fight and you don't really know before you initiate a fight, like what level the enemies are that you're going up against. So you'll get into a fight and all of a sudden like, oh, these are level, they're 3 levels above me. Okay. Now I can try and flee this fight. Sometimes it doesn't work, or you just try and fight them. And if you die, then that's it. You're done. And that's kind of what happened to me. I got into a fight where the characters I was fighting up against were way too strong. And I couldn't flee. So I ended up just dying. So that is the point where I put about 40 minutes in that dungeon. And then it put me back at the start, and I was like, cool, I'm definitely done with this game because I do not like the combat at all. I like the idea of the combat, but I don't like the way it's sort of, the way the turn-based system works. Like if it was just a classic turn-based role-playing game where it's like, it's your go, what do you want to do? If you want to attack or do a spell or heal or use an item. I like that sort of stuff, but when you start putting like, oh, actually it's your go, but this is going to take a certain amount of time for you to do this thing you want to do, and now you're going to end up moving down the chain on your go list, and it's just too much to try and figure out in your head. Like, all right, where is it going to put me? Like, whereabouts am I going to, I've got to think like 4 moves ahead of where I actually am, and I just can't be bothered doing that in a turn-based game. So it really, like, I like the art style. I like pretty much everything that's got going except combat. I just could not get into it at all. So super disappointing. So I did that first dungeon. I was like, I'm out. See ya. Thanks, Battle
Yeah, okay,
Chasers.
fair enough.
Yeah, I went through like a lot of games during the break, which just like, all right, this is where we're at. Fair enough.
Yep.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was Battle Chasers Nightwar. But the rest of their games have been good. Darksiders Genesis, if you haven't played that, definitely check that one out. It's excellent.
Right. I've got it. I just played it.
I think Nate talked about it as well, right?
Did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you want me to keep going?
Go on.
The Untitled Goose Game.
Oh, yeah.
Or as I think I've called it before, the Overrated Goose Game.
Overrated Goose Game. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the game where you're a goose and you are doing puzzles and like you're given like a shopping list of things you need to do to get past the area, and once you complete them, it sort of opens up a gate and you go on to the next section. It'll be things like, you know, there'll be a kid running around and he's got a pair of glasses on and there's glasses somewhere else and you've got to try and swap his glasses with the other glasses or make him do stupid things and off you go. Obviously the game got a lot of attention due to its memes on the internet. I think that's pretty much all it's got going for it. It's a very basic puzzle game.
Goofy and I guess, you know, it hits a lot of the right notes in that it's, you know, I guess technically antagonistic, but not violent. So yeah, like, you know, I guess it appeals to people who want their antagonist game without feeling like they're then gonna have to, I don't know, murder people with a fucking plastic bag like Manhunt or some shit. It's basically Manhunt, but you're a goose.
Yeah. It's got a really nice art style, great soundtrack, that sort of stuff, but it's a very one-note game. Like, the puzzles aren't hard. You kind of just doing the same thing over and over again. I don't think it's very long. I didn't finish it. I got like 3 sections in. I've got like to a bar area. I think that's pretty close to the end.
I didn't finish it.
From what I could gather.
I was going to be bored with it.
Yeah, so yeah, I just got bored with it. Like, it's very basic game. I think it's the Overrated Goose Game because that's exactly what I think. I saw it on a lot of Game of the Year lists, and I think we talked about this. It's a game for people that don't play a lot of games.
But yeah, like I think I get it, right? Like, I get why Untitled Goose Game sits on Game of the Year lists more than I get why fucking Death Stranding does. You know, because at least Untitled Goose Game has a direct appeal. Like, it's a little one nose.
Sure.
But like, I understand that why people like that note. And I think it's only one note for people who have played a lot of games, I guess, as you're saying. Like, to your point, if you're accustomed to the concept of the puzzle game, you know, I guess it harkens back to Limbo or Inside, right? Like, these games where the aesthetic becomes more important to people than the gameplay. And I can understand. I understand that more than I understand Death Stranding, where, you know, at least Untitled Goose Game, while it is a little, becomes tedious, just like Inside, just like Limbo. It isn't desperately long, and it isn't more of the same once you come back. Like, it is largely functionally the same, but it is like, I guess, artistically different when you come back to try it again, to play it some more. If you come back after a couple of days, you can pick it back up again and immediately get back to what you were doing, stealing hats or whatever. But yeah, meanwhile, Death Stranding, this is what I'm going to do for 2020. Every time I don't like a game, I'm going to fucking compare it to Death Stranding and try to work out if it's worse than fucking Death Stranding. Yeah.
The answer is yes.
But yeah, like Death Stranding, you come back and yeah, you got to walk in one direction for 40 fucking hours. Like, yeah. Anyway, fuck Death Stranding.
Yeah, like I'm not saying I don't like Untitled Goose Game. I'm just saying it is getting overblown in its praise. Like I think it's a very basic game. I saw the GDC awards nominations that were released last week, and it got nominated for I think 4 or 5 awards, including Game of the Year. It's up against like Sekiro and Control and Death Stranding, and then there's Untitled Goose Game, which was, I think, it's like a high 70s on Metacritic, something like that. And even on Metacritic, it wasn't reviewed favorably in a user review score, which isn't to say much, but at the same time, that wasn't a game that was going to get review bombed, so that's people's just general opinions, I guess. But it was like, it's been given like innovation awards and design awards, and
design awards I understand. Innovation awards I do not, but like I think that like I guess what I'm getting at is there is something we said for simplicity in video games that we don't see a lot of, and it seems like every time we do see a game that takes a great idea and just exploits that one great idea, it tends to resonate with a lot of people, which I think is what's happening here.
Yeah, and I think it was just overblown because of the meme factor. People would just posting memes about it. I'm just saying that I think there are a lot better games out there that could have been nominated for that stuff or have done. They're just better games. They're more fun games. They're more fleshed out games. Like you look at the thing it's trying to do, which is the stealth. Get a thing and do whatever you want with it. Is like done. I think personally 20 times better in the Hitman games. Just because it's surrounded by you as an assassin, all of a sudden that's a bad thing. They just do like more interesting things with that game. So like I've seen it done better elsewhere, years and years ago. That's just personally why I think it's been overrated. So I mean I played it. It's a fun game, but I wouldn't put it in that category of it's the best thing that I've seen this year or one of the best things. It's just like it's fine, whatever. The other one I'll quickly talk about is Ring Fit Adventure. This was we were listening to a Giant Bombcast, the Game of the Year deliberations, as I do at the end of the year. And my wife was listening to it as well. Okay. And they were talking about Ring Fit Adventure. She thought it sounded really cool, so we picked it up. And I'm yet to play it. Doesn't work. It does not work.
What?
It's when I plug in my there's like a start screen when you get going, and it's like you basically have to set up an accessory with it. It's like this. It's a ring that you plug the Joy-Con into, and when I do that, it comes up and says I need to update my controller, and then I go okay, and it says your controllers are up to date, and then I press okay. And then 5 seconds later, it says you need to update your controller, and I go, okay. And then it says your controller is up to date, and I say okay, and that's the game. I think I've been
sounds good. Have you Googled it? What Google?
I've Googled it. Yeah, there was a thread on Reddit where people have said like they're having the same problem, and the one solution was to buy new Joy-Cons. Yeah,
that's Nintendo's solution to every Joy-Con problem.
Yeah. So I hit up Nintendo support, and this has been going on for 4 weeks now, nearly a month. Yeah, but maybe 3 weeks. Yeah. And so the first time I hit them up, I gave the guy my serial number of the unit. And then he asked for he asked if I live in the US. I said, yes, I live in the US. The hardware is from the US. I bought the game from the US. Like everything is in the US. And then he asked for my Nintendo ID. And then I gave him that, and he said, I can't help you because your Nintendo ID was created in Australia. And I said, yeah, but okay, I said, that's fine. But I'm having a hardware issue.
Yeah.
Everything about the hardware is in the US. Like, I live in the US. My account has been changed to the US. Why do I need to speak to someone in Australia? And he's like, oh, because I can't get your information. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And then so I quit that chat log, and then I waited the next day and then raised another case with them. And this time I was like, fuck it. If they ask for my ID again, I'll just create a brand new one. And it's not going to get, like, they don't need my, like, who cares where the fuck my ID was created, or you don't need it at all. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then this guy didn't ask for my ID. He started doing some basic troubleshooting. Guy or girl?
Sure.
I think it was a guy. Did some basic troubleshooting stuff that I already tried, stuff that I hadn't tried. Like, I already did, like, a system reset and all that sort of stuff, like a fresh whatever, same issues. And then he said, I've got to escalate the job. But then in the same chat, he said that that someone may contact you, but they may not if they can't figure out what the issue is. And I was like, no, someone is going to contact me back. Like, you need to, like, you can't say, oh, we're going to log a case for this job, but you might not hear back from us. I'm like, no, that's not how support works. Like, I have an issue, and you need to try and fix it or give me some sort of solution. Like, do I refund it? Do you send me out a new device or something? And I was like, I'll give you, here's my phone number. Someone needs to call me back, like, and let me know what is going on. Like, if you don't have a solution, then what do I do? Like, what's the next step?
I hope he's like recording / screenshotting all this shit, because
oh yeah, I've screenshot it.
Like,
and then so
it's fucking cooked.
It is cooked. And then so I messaged them again yesterday because I hadn't heard back from them. Another week went by, and asked if they had an update, and they said, did anybody contact you yet? And I said no. And then, well, they probably don't have an update yet. They'll only contact you if they have a fix. I said, can you check the case for me? And so he checked it. He said, there's no notes in the case. They don't have a fix yet. I was like, cool. And that's where I'm at with Ring Fit Adventure. So I've got about 2 more weeks left before I can refund it on Amazon. They do like extended holiday period refunds during Christmas, so I've got a bit more time. But so far, Nintendo's support has been a bit shit, as expected. Like, it's kind of what
Shocked
I thought it would be.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of just starting a new case and being like, send me some new Joy-Cons, because they're drifting. What's some new Joy-Cons? I don't know, that might fix it.
That'd work, right? Like, oh yeah, don't you free replace Joy-Cons? Well, mine are drifting for some reason. Just fucking get a rubber band and hold it to one side. That, like, literally wears out those fucking shit cunt Joy-Cons in a fucking moment. Like, that'll, yeah. Problem solved. Modern problems require modern solutions.
Yeah. So it kind of just puts in a contrast of, I've had issues with other console systems. I've had I had a PlayStation 3, I think it was, die on me, and I got that replaced. Support I got from Sony was awesome. They basically sent out like a package to put the device into, and then you ship it off, and then like a week and a half later they shipped me the device back. It was fixed, like a refurbished or whatever it was. I've had issues with the Windows Store I've talked about on here before, with like purchases not worked or things going wrong with purchases, and like Microsoft support has always fixed that sort of stuff. And then like Nintendo is just like, we'll log a case, but we may not call you back, or may not fix it for you, or tell you if we can fix it. Cool.
Bananas.
Yeah.
Bananas, I tell you.
Yeah. Anyway, that's fucking... I've not played that game yet, which sounds like I'm not going to anyway.
Are you living a new Ring Fit life, or is this... So did this win Game of the Year from Giant Bomb then, or...?
No, it was just the game.
Part of their 18-day, 64-hour deliberation process.
Yeah, it was long.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
All right, you want to talk about something?
Yeah, let's do Remnant. No, let's do Trepang 2. Trepang 2 You can get the demo right now. I don't know if it's available to buy, but the demo is quite entertaining. It's being pitched as like a new Fear, like heavily inspired by Fear. I think it's made by some sneaky fucking Russians. You can get the demo free, and basically, it's a gory shooter. It's got really good shooting. You can slow down time, and all that kind of stuff, and like fantastic lighting, and like a really good sense of the shooting mechanism. Like it really focuses heavily on a shooting mechanism, and
Right.
yeah, like it looks gorgeous, gory and fucking terrifying, and it's got that fucking the Matrix thing where the pillars fucking shatter because you're in slow mo, all that stuff, like fucking all these particles fucking fly off and all this
Control.
brick.
It's Control now. Control does that.
Splatters everywhere. Okay. But yeah, it's a really really good looking game, and yeah, hailed as the 2019 Fear. It's definitely worth checking out, at the very least, if you like shooters. Free, first of all, and second of all, it doesn't take that long to play. It took me about fucking how long has Steam played for? 1 hour to finish what they've got so far. It's not a very complicated story or anything like that. But yeah, the Fear comparisons I think might be a little bit much for me. Fear, the real meat of Fear was in its AI, and I think that topic may have been talked to death. I don't know if we've definitely spoken about it before. How, like, we've spoken about it, maybe not on the podcast, talked about it over drinks and shit. Because there was that article series for a little while ago where the AI director went deep into how it was all smoke and mirrors. I don't know if you remember that in particular, but basically, Fear is hailed as the fucking evolution of the Half-Life AI, because it's got really reactive AI. But yeah,
talk to each other and things like that.
Yeah, they talk to each other and they organize what they're going to do, and they talk about where you are, coordinate and find, like, around that. But apparently, it's all like quite heavily trigger based. This doesn't really have that. It's got kind of just dumb AI. It's not really a diss at Trepang. I'm just trying to frame the Fear concept, because for me that's what made Fear amazing, and I think it's what Fear 3 didn't have. For 3,
yeah,
didn't have. Yeah, it was like a major missing point. It sort of focused on goriness and horror and the shooting and all that kind of stuff, and I felt like I never really understood what Fear was about. So I think it's important to sort of frame it in that sense. Trepang 2. I don't know if there's a Trepang 1. But yeah. Anyway, you can get this demo. It's worth checking out.
Xbox marketing bullshit right here. Did G-Man recommend this to you? Because he's got an excerpt on the game page I can see.
I watched his video on it after I'd played it. Nate recommended it to me, and I think Nate might have had it recommended to him by G-Man. But yeah. I watched his video on it afterwards, and like, he goes through it quite well, but I think you're better off just fucking playing it yourself, to be honest. It does a lot of really cool stuff, and it's definitely worth checking.
Right.
So yeah. It's not terribly difficult, I found. But yeah. Trepang 2, worth playing, worth checking out. Shall we do Remnant from the Ashes? Remnant from the Ashes it was hailed as like a Dark Souls shooter. A Dark Souls shooter, sort of, I guess, in the sense that it's got it's got like a it's similar thematically to Dark Souls. Slight horror elements, massive bosses, like huge boss fights, and I think that's about it. That's really all it's got in common. It's not like death doesn't really cost you anything, so there's nothing there, and
Hmm.
yeah, it's not like the levels are. It's got some shortcutting, but it's much more Dark Souls 2 style level design than it is anything else, which doesn't make it not a Dark Souls. It's just way, way further in the Dark Souls 2 direction than it is. Like, the shortcuts are very, very simplistic, like very short. They don't really do that much. So, yeah, it's mostly like, it's, I see the fucking similarities, but I wouldn't say it's a Dark Souls shooter. I don't know how you'd necessarily do a Dark Souls shooter. It would be very difficult. But I guess this is one way that you might approach the challenge. With all that said, it was a very fun game, and I enjoyed my time with it. I just, again, I'm just clarifying around the specific discourse that surrounds the game. It's not a Dark Souls shooter. Okay, just as Trepang 2 isn't a fear game, this isn't a Dark Souls shooter. Still a good time. Well worth playing. I don't know how much it fucking costs.
I think it's on
But
Game Pass, right? I think I've seen it on there.
I think that's Xbox only.
Okay.
Uh, $57. It's not worth $57. I would not buy it for $57. I'll tell you fucking what. But I did get it. I think it was half off in a Steam sale, and it was. I would say it's worth what I paid. The $28 that I paid for it. It's a very entertaining co-op shooter. It's built from the ground up for co-op, and it plays quite well in co-op because it needs the other person to be there to alleviate some of the tedium. There's quite a bit of tedium in the way that it does these. It does the Dark Souls thing of having you reach checkpoints and then run to the next area.
Hmm.
But while you're discovering the world, you are very heavily incentivized to explore every nook and cranny,
Mm-hmm.
and that means a lot of combat, and then a lot of running to the next combat area, and then they are for some reason very stretched, like very far
Far
apart.
away. Yeah.
Yeah, and so there are significant like portions of just fucking running from one thing to another with nothing in between, which is very boring. And the combat isn't super challenging outside of the boss fights either. And so in Dark Souls, what you do is you would just sprint to the fucking boss fight, right? Like you do the exploratory stuff, you find shortcuts, and then you sprint to the boss fight, and you get to the next fucking big thing, right? Like you find what it is you need to do. Like you work out how to beat the boss. There's always a fucking checkpoint right in front of the fucking boss gate, which I guess sort of mitigates the run back. There's never I don't think there were never enemies between the boss gate and the checkpoint. So it's not like they sort of got rid of that run back in particular. And in some ways, I think it led to maybe bad level design.
Mm-hmm.
Like bad design in the sense that if they had not put a checkpoint in front of the boss gate, they would have been forced to rethink how they space the levels out, because people QA testers would have played through the levels and gone, oh motherfucker, like do I really have to do this? Like I'm just trying to fucking test this boss. Am I really gonna have to fucking run like all this way again? Whereas in Dark Souls, right, once you've got the checkpoint, there's still a decent run back. Like in particular, I'm remembering the fucking spider fight in Dark Souls 2, which is a cunt of run back. It was a kind of a run back because I kept dying to it because I was trying to get the Moonlight Greatsword, I think, which you have to do like the alternate kill on, and that was a pain in the dick. But anyway, yeah, like I kept fucking wiping and kept having to do that run back, and it's an annoying run back. And yeah, like it's annoying, but it's not. It's never tedious. It's never boring. And this has quite a number of boring runbacks. Even though the checkpoints are basically outside the boss gate, they're not exactly outside the boss gate. They're always a little bit removed from it, which is very odd. Anyway, boss fights themselves were generally very good, I thought. I liked the boss fights. I thought they were good fun. So that juxtaposed against the tedium of running to the boss fights sort of like really clashed, in my opinion. Because I think if they spent a little bit more time refining the level design, it wouldn't have even been necessary, right? Like the checkpoints themselves wouldn't have been necessary. You could have just fucking belted it from the checkpoint back to the boss fight itself, ignoring all the enemies in between, because the enemies respawn when you get to a checkpoint. There are a number of checkpoints where the enemies can attack you while you're at the fucking checkpoint, which is idiotic.
Yeah.
And again, a mistake that I think is born of them perhaps putting checkpoints down without actually taking the level design into account, right? Anyway, boss fight's really good, like really good fun, and yeah, it's a really good game in co-op that I had a lot of fun with. I played through the entire thing with Nate, literally the entire thing. We didn't do anything except you have to do the tutorial on your own. But once that was done, yeah, we had a lot of fun. And like over the course of playing the game, I think I actually may have convinced Nate to play some Dark Souls. Because I'm like, oh, in Dark Souls this isn't happening. In Dark Souls this isn't happening.
In Dark Souls,
this is a lot better in Dark Souls. Yeah, this is a lot better in Dark Souls. Like, if you enjoy this, I think you would enjoy Dark Souls.
Except the part with no shooting.
That's except for the part where there's no shooting, which is a pretty key Nate trait. But yeah, like we were.
He also liked Jedi Fallen Order as well.
Yeah,
so maybe
true. I think yeah, we were talking about that, right? Like, I think he would like a Dark Souls. I think he's just convinced that he wouldn't.
Yeah.
And it does have quite the learning curve at the start. Like the learning straight formula. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, good fun, really good boss fights. The last boss fight is like straight up one of the worst in human history. Like flat out one of the fucking dumbest things I've ever encountered in a video game.
Death Stranding.
Worse than yeah, because all of Death Stranding was bad. Like all of Death Stranding was bad. So that's a good question. I am supposed to be comparing all bad things in games to Death Stranding.
So worse than the boss fights in Death Stranding.
Worse than the boss fights. Well, yeah, because it's more tedious. At least the boss fights in Death Stranding broke up the tedium of the rest of the game, whereas this was more tedious. It's seriously annoying. It's seriously a fucking bad boss fight that we had to wipe on a number of times purely for ammunition reasons.
Right.
Which, not good. Not good. Not a good fucking thing. I like it might be worse than Beta Chaos in Dark Souls 1, which is, in my opinion, the worst boss fight of all time. This actually fucking rivals it. Just in terms of sheer fucking annoyance. At least Beta Chaos is over quickly. This one takes fucking forever. Forever. And it's just not worth it. Like, it's straight up just not worth the fucking effort. Anyway. So yeah, terrible last boss fight. The rest of them were really good. Some really like interesting things in the mix. We played on default difficulty. We probably could have gone through it on harder, think we only wiped repeatedly on outside of the last boss fight, which we wiped over and over and over again. Because you literally have no idea how to fucking like. This thing has fucking 40,000 health, and my beast gun was doing, I think it was 8 damage. Like, you do no damage to this fucking thing. It took fucking anyway. Outside of that last boss, we only wiped it like on a couple of the bosses until we worked out the trick. I think it would be more difficult if we weren't both very competent shooters. But yeah, I had a sniper rifle that did a fuck ton of damage, and yeah, on any boss that had a weak point, it was over very fucking quick. And on any boss that didn't have a weak point, once we worked out the rest of the trick, it was generally over pretty quick anyway.
Are the weak points like glowing things on something, or you just kind of...
No, you just get like red. You see red damage. You see the damage pop up. So when you see red damage, you're like, oh, weak point.
Yeah.
Let's do it. But yeah, like fucking hell, man. That last boss fight. Woof. The rest of it, pretty good. Not a lot of replayability, which I think is a bit of a shame. I don't know what you do, but we didn't max out our guns. We didn't get to like level 20 on any of our weapons or anything. A little bit of a shame, I think. We never even got the materials required to get past, I think, level 15.
Right.
So I think you only get that on higher difficulty levels. But the higher difficulty levels only seem to increase health pools and damage done. So it's not that interesting. Like, I didn't find it. And there wasn't enough, like, loot. It's the Diablo system, right? And it's even got an adventure mode, like Diablo 3. But there aren't enough, like, there's not enough gear in the game world to incentivize you to chase that stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, that's not... I feel like they fundamentally didn't understand that either. You know, like, it feels like a game where they saw a lot of good ideas and tried to implement those good ideas, but didn't get. You got to go back a few steps, right? When you see a good idea, you got to go back a few steps to work out. Like if you're making a fucking, like when I'm fucking about in the kitchen, right? And I'm trying to make. My wife doesn't eat pork, and I try to make ramen, right? I want to make tonkotsu ramen, and we had chicken tonkotsu in Japan, essentially, which tonkotsu is the very thick pork-based broth that you have in some ramens. We had chicken tonkotsu when we were in Japan, and so I went down the rabbit hole of trying to work out how you would make chicken tonkotsu. And there's not a lot of resources out there to really elaborate or tell you why or how you do it. So I had to do it myself. And what I wound up working out is the reason tonkotsu is the way it is because they boil the bones, right, for long enough that the fat and cartilage and bone marrow and everything inside of the pork bone breaks down over the course of the boiling. You keep topping it up with water, and the pork bones themselves actually break down. And so I did the same thing with fucking chicken. Chicken stock, like, it's basically like making a chicken stock and then going fucking 16 times further with it to make it the chickeniest chicken stock ever until like and it's way easier. It's actually a lot easier with fucking chicken. Because chicken bones break down a lot faster, and so yeah, you know, I went back. I went back further. I didn't just be like, well, I'll just make fucking chicken soup and put some ramen noodles in it, right? That's not chicken tonkotsu. I went way deeper into it, and I boiled fucking chicken carcasses for 6 days to make chicken tonkotsu.
It's too much effort.
It was a fucking ton of effort. I went even further. I made like fucking. We rolled chicken up so that we can make, char siu, the pork bits they put on top of. We rolled that up so it looks like char siu, and like sous vide that. We went fucking way overboard with that shit, but it fucking worked, and like it was very, very, very reminiscent of the stuff we had in Japan, right? That's what you got to do with these fucking elements in games. You can't just be like, well, they got shortcuts in Dark Souls, so we're going to have shortcuts, and I guess if we've got shortcuts in our game, then we have to have a reason for the shortcuts. So I guess we make our fucking levels real big, right? And
windy.
That's what it feels like they did. And instead, yeah, they didn't really they didn't go far enough to work out why the shortcuts actually exist, and like the sense of progression, like causal progression that the shortcuts in Dark Souls levels create. Or, oh well, we want replayability, so let's add a adventure mode like Diablo 3, and people can grind out the rest of their fucking upgrades, but without realizing that, if you've got an upgraded weapon, you're heavily disincentivized to try other weapons, and also you've used your upgrade resource on that weapon, so you're specifically invested in that one weapon. You're not going to try other weapons out, and so yeah, you're specifically disincentivized to try other weapons out, and then B, they didn't add enough weapons to make you think about trying anything else out either. They've got these ideas, they know what they want to make, they just don't know how they should get there, right?
Or, yeah, why they're doing it.
Why they want those things. Yeah, they know what they want, they just don't know why they want it. Yeah. It didn't really it's hard for a game that is, heavily co-op dependent. It can be hard to distinguish between what was fun and what was fun because it was co-op. I think we run into this fucking challenge all the fucking time. But I think Remnant is good in co-op specifically, and it is good for reasons that are not directly co-op related, but I would not play this game solo because it is created with co-op in mind. So
sure.
Yeah, it's balanced around co-op. There is one boss that I think would be fucking near impossible to seriously fucking rough solo, because it is a fucking clusterfuck. So yeah, it'd be a proper challenge. I'm sure people have done it, but it'd be a fucking rough go. Anyway, that's Remnant from the Ashes.
Has it made you more excited, or are you less excited for Elden Ring now that you've played this?
I keep forgetting Elden Ring exists, and seeing how George R. R. Martin is involved, I am not holding my breath on it coming out anytime soon.
Oh no, it's supposed to be out in June.
Yeah, I have zero faith it's going to make it. We haven't seen anything on it, and yeah, that's not how they fucking release games.
Well, the rumblings is start of February. We should
really
get a reveal and then a June release. There was a leak last year on either Target or Kmart that said it was coming out in June of 2020, and then over Christmas, From Software did like a Christmas card on their website, or like a personalized Christmas card, and you could choose some of their games, and one of them was Elden Ring, which will be released in June. Like, it's on their website. You can go look this up. So
right,
yeah. I mean, obviously, game release dates change, but there's a bunch of. I mean, it's on their website. It says June, so we'll see. But I'm definitely interested to see what that is, because there's a lot of talk. I mean, people have been, the rumors out there that it's going to be like their biggest game they've ever made, things like that. So
how
we shall see.
Is biting off a fucking lot.
Yeah. All right, what else do we have that we can talk about? Do you want to keep going?
Let's go for Die Hard board game. played the Die Hard board game. Was going to play it on Christmas Day, but we got way too drunk to play it on Christmas Day, so it didn't happen. It's a lot of fun, but it's I guess it's not a complex game. It's actually really simple. It's just there's a lot involved, right? Like it's quite easy to understand. It's just there's a lot to get started with, and then there is a transition phase where it changes, and then it changes again, and so that's kind of tricky to I guess wrap your head around when you've been drinking these fucking I had these fucking beers that were fucking like 2 beers a can, like
American beers.
Percentage of alcohol is fucking insanity. I got ripped on fucking 3 beers. I'm like, why am I so fucking drunk already? And I had to look at the fucking can. I've already had a fucking 6-pack. Like in the last half an hour, I'm like pounding through them because they're tasty, and I'm like, I'm fucking wasted. Yeah, it's because I had a 6-pack in half an hour. Anyway, so I was too drunk to fucking go through Die Hard. But a couple of days later, we rolled on down to the brewery near me, Akasha Brewery, and they got a tasting area, but it's like just a sort of part of their warehouse that they're not using, and so they got tables and stuff, and we just sort of set up the board game at one of those tables and played some Die Hard board game, and it was good fun. It's a really good fucking game. My wife, we played 4-person paper scissors rock, and she won, so she got to be John McClane. And it's 1 person plays John McClane, 3 people play as the terrorists / thieves, and the game goes through, basically takes you through the course of the Die Hard film, and it's got stuff like that is specifically tied to the film. Like John McClane has these incentives that they have to work out to, like, that they have to accomplish, these objectives that they have to accomplish that are tied directly, like find a radio or
find a machine gun,
get some shoes that are too small, find a machine gun, and yeah, it's really cool. My wife won as John McClane. We probably could have stalled it out, but it seemed like it was a bit of an inevitability. There's a bit of RNG in her objective system. Like she can take, like John McClane could take a number of drawbacks. Basically, can fuck up and take a couple of hits that make things quite a bit more difficult. But she somehow she's got the luck of the draw, and that never happened to her. And what happened instead was she blitzed through her second set of objectives like in record time, like way faster than we could have done anything about it. Like, and yeah, we just basically we got a bit unlucky as the thieves, and it meant that she was like into the third act, her third set of objectives, and we hadn't accomplished anything in that previous one. And you need to be accomplishing shit. Like while John McClane is going through his objectives, you need to be accomplishing your own. The thieves need to be accomplishing their stuff at the same time.
They're robbing.
Yeah, exactly. So you've got so the thieves' primary objective obviously is to kill John McClane, but that's extremely difficult. Their secondary objective is to open the 6 locks on the safe, and then the 7th lock won't open until John McClane's third set of objectives, right? So you have to, but you want to have those 6 locks open by the time John gets to the third set of objectives. They get more and more difficult as you go along. You can sort of just like have a punt, but yeah, it's like largely what you're trying to do is when you complete an objective that slows John McClane, it helps you unlock the locks as well. So you've got like this balancing act where anytime you're slowing John McClane, you're also helping yourself. But if you never fucking slow John McClane, if you never slow that cunt down, you are fucking way behind. And yeah, it's difficult to come back from. So yeah, she blitzed through her second set of objectives. I mean, just fucking couldn't catch up. And yeah, so she won. But it's still rad. We couldn't play again because we were too drunk again. That's the problem, right? It's again, like I was saying, it's mechanically quite simple, but there's stuff to it that makes it challenging to sort of reset and start over from. And after I don't know, fucking 5 or 6 pints, it took us about an hour and a half to play. It would go faster the second time, but yeah, like I'd say it's probably an hour-long game, hour and a half for the first time. But yeah, all those points, man. It's just, I don't know. That's always the challenge with board games is you drink while playing them, and eventually you get to a point where you're just not in any state to play the board games because generally board games require you to do a lot of fucking internal maths of your own that video games do at a computer level. And yeah, Die Hard is a little bit of that. Not a lot, but a little bit of that. And so yeah, it makes it challenging to play when super drunk. Totally worth it though. If you can find a fucking copy, it is fantastic. It's like you can play 2-player. It's probably a bit easier as a thief in 2-player because you get to decide all of the stuff on your own. Whereas in 4-player, there's a little bit of that like you're allowed to say vaguely what you're doing, but you're not allowed to say exactly what you're doing, type thing. So yeah, there's a bit of that going on in 4-player that wouldn't be there in 2-player because you have complete control. But yeah, anyway, yeah, totally worth it. Great game.
All right, Underlords. Been playing a bunch of Underlords because obviously Game of the Year podcast, a lot of them over the holiday period, so I was playing that while I was listening. A bunch of updates went out during the Christmas period. There was about maybe 7 or 8 different patches across from like the 18th up until last week or so. Really big patches as well, which have changed the meta quite a lot. The big one just before the Christmas period was basically removing the jail system, which means that what they're going for now is more like a seasonal based hero rotation. So they'll kind of like have a pool of characters and then every couple of weeks I'll just switch them in and out. I guess so that it sort of allows players to get more familiar with the hero rotation, kind of figure out builds and whatnot. I know that's something you were complaining about or criticizing.
Yep.
I don't know if I agree with it. I kind of like the fact that there was like this really quick rotation of people not being able to kind of figure out like what are the best builds and then just kind of forcing that every match. Maybe the rotation just needs to be longer, like
that's all I wanted. I didn't even think like a week. I just thought like a couple of days at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're going to this seasonal rotation thing they're doing. The other change they made was they removed the creeps, which is good. No more creeps anymore. In doing that,
literally what you said needed to happen, and then they did it.
Yeah, and they got which basically fast tracks the first 3 rounds almost instantly because you're now given a bunch of money, you get characters to pick from, and off you go. You don't have to play those 3 rounds, and then also the creeps in between, like the intermissions, they're gone completely as well. You're just randomly given items as well this time, which has sped up the game a lot. I think it's dropped from like a 45-minute sort of average game down to about 30 minutes, maybe less.
Right.
So that was one of their big things they wanted to do. The other change they put in there was the Underlords selection is now during the game, as opposed to pre-game. So you can sort of build towards, like, oh, I've been given these characters. Let's try and do something else with them. Like, oh, I've got an Assassin's Savage or something like that. So maybe I'll do, I want attack speed on my characters, or maybe like I need a tank, so I'll get a tank character or a healer. And so you can kind of build around that now, which is a good change. But in saying that, they've removed like the progression system in there, so you're no longer picking skills for these underlords every couple of rounds. You're kind of just given a random set, which I guess it fits into their like RNG system of like, oh, these are kind of characters you got to try and build towards, but at the same time, you're now randomly given an underlord. No, you're not randomly given an underlord, but you're randomly given a skill set for that specific underlord. So one round it could be like a where she puts like the golem, the healer, in the back line, or it could be like now she's like does the healing instead, or or like she'll be able to kill like a unit on the other team and switch them across to your team, and like you just kind of given a random skill and you don't really know. So I don't like that part of it as much. Like you kind of just forced to go down a specific route, and whether or not you kind of want to do that, it's not really up to you anymore. So I don't really like that change. And then along with that, they've done a bunch of changes to the heroes, buffs, things like that. The other big one that they've done is the interest now only calculates from 30 up, and that's the max cap. So it used to be 50 before. So every round after whatever you've got, you now earn interest, but it's a lot less interest. So they're kind of trying to speed that up a little bit as well. And in doing that, yeah, man, I just like all these sort of little changes they put in there at the end of the year or in the last sort of 3 weeks. Some of them been good, but for the most part, I don't like the meta where it is at the moment.
Right.
It really forces you to play the game very differently. I'm finding a lot of the rounds that I'm getting to at the end, sometimes there aren't even 3-star heroes on the board for the people that are winning. It's very rare to have more than 2 that I'm seeing. I wasn't enjoying it at all. I've basically been playing knockout for the most part, and occasionally I'll jump in and be like, maybe I'm missing something, I just don't get it, whatever. They've made it a lot harder to go for like 3-star heroes. Because the pace of the game is so much quicker. Before you could be like, oh, I'm going to get a 3-star like level 1 hero, and you could sort of work towards that. Because it's so much quicker now, and you're sort of leveling up so much quicker, getting those 3 stars really early is a lot harder. So, you're trying to get 3-star heroes, but at that stage you're being given level 3 and 4-star heroes, and so you're like, we may as well just switch them out. And so that incentive to go for those really low 3-star heroes is just, it's not worth it anymore. Mainly joined to the fact that you can't spin as much anymore, like spin to get those heroes, because you're getting less interest. And so you might be like, oh, I'll spend, I used to sometimes go in the old meta, I'll spend 20 gold and then we'll see where I'm at. Maybe I'll get the characters I wanted to sort of go for. But at this stage, in the meta at the moment, like you spend that 20 gold and you are basically back to no interest. Like, all right, well, I guess I'm back to, at that spot again. And it doesn't take a huge amount of time for you to get back to where you were, but it's maybe 3 or 4 rounds. And because the rounds or the games are so much shorter, that's a lot of time for you to sort of waste. And so I wasn't playing very well at all. Like I didn't understand what I was supposed to be doing. Like I couldn't get into it. I was either I wasn't winning any games. I was getting sometimes in the top 4 and then just getting destroyed. Other times I was just getting flat out smashed. Like I just was not having fun. And I was like, I must be missing something. There's something going on here. I just don't know what it is. So I went and watched a streamer who was a like one of the top, there's like different rankings in the game, and he was like one of those top ones. I watched
Big
him for
boss,
about
yeah.
3 minutes in total to see what the
Yeah.
fuck he was doing.
Hmm.
And within 3 minutes, I was like, oh, okay, this is the meta. And the meta is fill your board with units, from what I gathered watching this dude. Because he was basically just, he wasn't even spinning, he was just leveling every single time. So he would get to 10
Right.
units,
Yep.
or he would get his go. He wouldn't spin to try and get another unit. He would just put points into experience. He was at the top of his experience pool. And so I was like, okay, well, because that's not how I was playing. I was kind of just watching where other people were and like figuring out maybe I should level now, and sort of trying to keep in line with the pack of when I should level or when I should spin. And this guy was just like, he was always above everybody else by like at least 1 or 2 levels. So I jumped back into my first game and I think I came second immediately. And then I played the next game and I won. So I've played about 4 games now and I've been in the top 2, or like 3 or 4 times. And I've won a couple of games now. So the meta seems to be just stack as many units on the board as you can as quickly as possible. And I'm just basically ending the game as quick as I can now.
Yeah.
Just to force the game to be over. I don't like that strategy at all. I think it's boring. So I've the 2 games that I won. I didn't have any 3-star units. I just had 2-star units, but because I had 2 more units than everybody else, they couldn't do much. And I just don't like that meta. So I'm hoping they change it really soon. There should be an update in the next day or 2, and then we'll see where we're going, because it sounds like they're gearing up towards the start of season 1 next month. So they're still definitely tweaking things, and they might go back on some of this stuff. But yeah, I'm hoping that they sort of figure out where this interest is at, because I think the interest part has been a big detriment to where the game is. I think that's a big problem, because I feel like it should be about trying to get some of these heroes. Like you're trying to work towards that stuff. That's what the game is about. I used to finish games before. You'd see a bunch of people with 3-star heroes, sometimes 5 or 6, maybe more. And now I'm lucky if I can see 2 on the winning team. So yeah, I just don't like where it is at the last sort of 3 weeks for the standard game. But like knockout, I still love playing knockout. It's so much fun. Really quick, like 5-minute games. And you kind of just get what you're given and try and build towards like those synergies and those alliances, and having a lot of fun with that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm definitely like not out of playing it. Like they haven't fucked up the other mode that I like, which is cool. And obviously played a bunch of duos as well still, but it seems like standard, which I played a lot of, is not my jam at the moment. I can definitely jump in there and just grind it by doing this sort of cheap trick that I don't know if this is the way everybody is playing, which it didn't seem to be, because the games that I'm now winning, like nobody is anywhere near my leveling, like how quickly I'm leveling. So yeah, anyway, it's still fun. I'm hoping that they figure it out at the start of the next couple of weeks. But yeah, that's just some of the nitpicks I've noticed. So some good changes in there, but I just don't like the way the game's playing at the moment. So it's a bit crap. Yeah. I'm guessing you haven't played any at all?
No, I didn't play it. I played it when they first implemented the elimination of the creep waves.
Yeah. So it was about around the 20th, maybe just before we recorded. Maybe after.
I just wasn't having fun.
Yeah.
I've never really liked knockout. It's not auto chess to me. It's some weird perversion of the concept. It just feels too RNG heavy. So I don't want to play knockout, and I don't like what they did to the regular game. So yeah, I just didn't play it basically. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll keep playing it. Hopefully they sort it out next couple of weeks. But otherwise, that's Dota Underlords. What else is there? I think these are all your games left.
Rainbow Six Siege. Been playing more Siege. I love Siege. I don't think there's that much to say. They're bringing out like a new limited time event, the stadium map. I don't know why they do limited time events. Like, why make a big map and then never use it again? But whatever. Yeah, just want to shout my love for Rainbow Six Siege. Because yeah, it is good fun. The only downside that I have for it is that I keep having to play fucking Yacht, which is the worst map in Rainbow Six history. Yeah, and that's about it. I don't know. I just really like it. I have a lot of fun.
We had it in news. We might as well talk about it here then. The
Sure.
Six Invitational is happening, I think, next month.
Yep. Soon. Real soon.
We've got 2 Australian teams that have made it through to the event this year. The first one being Wildcard Gaming, and the second being Fnatic, who are on their 4th year straight, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. Have you seen the draw?
No. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Fuck.
Group A. Oof.
I don't know.
Fnatic did not draw a good group.
Group D's pretty bad too. They've got G2, the winner of last year.
No, G2's awful at the moment. They're the direct invite. But yeah.
I mean, yeah, you can't rule them out. They've won twice now.
Oh, absolutely. But they're well on. They didn't qualify.
Empire's a tough group because obviously it's Empire. Is FaZe good?
Yeah, FaZe are good at the moment. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a nightmare. Group A is a nightmare. Group Z can be tricky, but it's okay. It's okay. Reciprocity, they can get got by Wildcard. Wildcard's having a bad run though. They're not having a good time at the moment. Yeah, they dropped to Kanga earlier this week. So, and like tied to other teams. Like, I can't remember their name, but some rando team. Like, yeah, they've been not doing well, but hopefully they can turn it around, get something going before the big one. When is it? The starts on the 7th of next month, so not quite a month away.
Yeah,
finals are a month.
Yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. At least the Australians aren't in the same brackets, I guess, where like one of them will get knocked out. Hopefully they both make it to the main stage, but
yeah, hopefully we get to see that. That'd be cool.
Yeah, Fnatic played really good in the
yeah, they looked fucking well in form.
The Asia Pacific Pro League final. They were
if Wildcard and Fnatic are in different, if they were in swap spots, I would be certain. I would like 100% guarantee Fnatic beat Group D. But I guess yeah, like you say, G2, you know, they are former champs. They do have something to prove. They might have a bit of a chip on their shoulder, so they might come out fucking heavy hitting. But yeah, Group A is a fucking night. Yeah. Anyway, and Dark Zero as well. It's a fucking nightmare. Like, it's just that's just rough. It's just rough, man. Poor Fnatic. Well, you gotta beat everyone if you're gonna beat anyone. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. What else is here? Starcom.
PUBG.
Nexus. Oh, PUBG.
Do PUBG first. Been playing more PUBG. I still love PUBG. Yeah, having a good time with it. Been playing with you across the Pacific Ocean. It's good fun. It's weird how much more people will listen to you than they do to me, because I'll say things and nobody will fucking listen. And then you say things like I was listening. I was playing Slay the Spire last night,
Yeah.
and you were IGLing, you were in-game leading,
Yeah.
and everyone was doing exactly what you fucking said, or largely what you said. And then I could hear when they didn't do what you said because they would die, and you'd be like, "We should have done this," and they were like, "Yeah." And meanwhile, I'll be like, "Oh yeah, we should do this," and then nobody will do that, and then I'll be like, "We should do it on this," and they're like, "Nah, I don't know." And then they fucking argue with me about it, even though I'm objectively right. I'm always right. And yeah, it's very, very aggravating to me, but don't worry about it. It's fine. Whatever. Had a fucking cracker of a game the other day on Erangel that was an absolute clusterfuck. I was playing with the third person crew. They play first person now. I managed to turn them to the light side.
Yeah.
But yeah, they play first person now, and we're playing on Erangel, and we must have spent, I would say, fucking 50% of that game in the blue. Like, just we would get in, we had the fucking roughest of starts. We managed to get sort of in, like we got to Yaz. The circle sort of hovered half over Mill Island, half over Miltar. But we were like pretty committed to Yaz, and yeah, we had to find our way out of Yaz, like everyone. There were 3 teams in Yaz. We had to fucking like battle our way out of Yaz, Naya Poliana, top northeast of the fucking map, like fucking grit and grind our way through. We did okay. We got 1 kill. Couldn't find a fucking car in Yaz. The other 2 teams like abandoned. They didn't like stay to fight. They just took every fucking vehicle in a fucking 16 fucking kilometer radius and got the fuck out of Dodge. So yeah, we were like literally had to run out of Yaz. The next best option. So this next circle guaranteed that we didn't have to go to Mill Island because we probably would have fucking quit if we'd had to go to Mill Island. There was just no way we were getting across it. Just re-queue would be faster. It'd be as opposed to swimming through the blue for the next fucking 40 minutes. But yeah, so ended up on this side. We're guaranteed on this side, but it was still fucking a while away. And yeah, we're running in the blue for a minute. We finally get a fucking vehicle. We drive for, I don't know, maybe fucking 20 seconds, and we get immediately fucking jumped on. We have to stop, like, stand and deliver because we lose, like, one of our 2 vehicles loses its wheels. We had 2 buggy. We had 3 players. So, yeah, we had to stand and deliver to give the other person cover. Because the team that jumped us, they had a vehicle. But, like, we'd only just gotten into the fucking white zone. And we managed to heal. We got these vehicles. We drove for a bit, lost the vehicle. The blue was coming in behind us as it was. And these guys, this other team, stopped in their fucking vehicle to try and fucking start some shit. So we fucking capped them. Fucking blap, blap. This is just outside of fucking school apartments. So while we're fucking blatting these cunts, we start getting fucking done from the other fucking direction. Like, they're not in the circle either. The circle is over on fucking, like, pushed all the way over. It's definitely a Milta power ending, right? This, like, the circle is fucking ages away. These cunts aren't, but they're like, oh, let's try and get some kills. So they're fucking blapping at us. We had to run into the smoke. Luckily, the dudes we killed had a fucking UAZ. And they dropped smoke so they could res one of their cunts that we'd fucking ripped up. We run through their smoke, like, loot just to get medical supplies at this point. We don't even have time, like, no time to actually loot. We're still under fire. We have no idea when the smoke is going to disappear. We get in this fucking UAZ. We drive. We get fucking lit up another 3 times just trying to get back into the circle. We loop all the way around. We stop at those houses that are just west of, just east of prison. You know, prison has got that little cluster of houses. They're only just in the circle at this point. And by the time we get there, we stop. We have enough time to fucking heal at this fucking little location. And then we have to go again. I think at this point, JC Trigger in the fucking third-person crew, he didn't even have. I think he didn't have a vest or a helmet. I think he'd lost it in the fighting. He didn't have something, but we couldn't stay and fucking loot because the circle had already closed. Like, was already closing, and we didn't like. Our choices were stay and loot and try and get a fucking helmet, or like. At which point we then have to use what little heals we have left. And I think we had 5 fucking bandages between us. No boosts left. So we would have had to like bandage up and go into another fight without any fucking health. For the chance of finding a fucking vest. Yeah, it was definitely a vest. Or we just fucking bust into the zone. We beeline for Bilter. Because we decided, obviously, we're not going to fucking risk it into the blue zone. We took some blue damage anyway, because fucking JC took his time getting to the fucking car. But anyway, take some blue damage. We bust in the middle, we're like, we'll loot. Maybe we can get a vest here, right? At best. We're probably going to get fucking shot. Our car is on about the car is smoking. It's on like a quarter health left. We fucking ball our way in. Under fire the entire time. We're getting fucking sniped at from every fucking angle. And we managed to get to a house. JC gets his vest. We get a fucking energy drink. We managed to like heal up a little bit. None of us is at full health. I was just shy of it because I had to bandage and then drink the energy, but the rest of them were just down on fucking blue damage, like maybe 90% health. And and the circle fucking keeps squishing us in on Milton. And as we but it's never on us. Like the circle we weren't in the circle, I think, until the final 2 circles. We were not in the next circle until the final 2 circles, when the amount of space left made it basically an inevitability. But each time, so we were on the fucking far east of Miltar, and the final circle, which we had to fight through Miltar all the fucking way to the other end of this fucking city. The final circle was on the fucking warehouse in Miltar. You know, the warehouse at the far west of Miltar. We had to fucking bust our way all the way, and it was. Second final was on that warehouse, half on that warehouse and half on that fucking giant open field next to the warehouse. Mm-hmm. And of course, we were naturally on the open field side of the fucking warehouse. And the only other team left, as far as we could tell, was they had the warehouse. So we had to cross this giant fucking open field to get across. We got unbelievably lucky in that one of their dudes dropped a fucking smoke at one end of the warehouse. So I pitched the smoke at the other fucking end and belted across the warehouse, because why the fuck wouldn't you? And yeah, we managed to get into a position where I had one angle off the warehouse. I believe Front had the other angle, so we were like flush against the fucking warehouse wall on the outside of it, watching both directions. And Trigger, JC stayed on the outside of it, in an area that was not great circle-wise, but had a little bit of cover. And the next circle went our way in that it pushed out of the fucking warehouse, and we won. We had those dudes fucking sweet, because they had to come out of the warehouse, and we had fucking every single angle covered. Like, they just had no fucking hope. That one fucking smoke basically cost them that game. Because if they just held the angle and waited for us to enter that open field, there was like a tractor's, like JC's bit of cover was literally big enough for one person while still being in the fucking circle. Yeah, like we were fucked. And we won it. JC won it with a fucking grenade into the warehouse, which was pretty cool as well. Anyway, it was a fucking cool game. Hairy as fuck. I think we got like, it might have been 13 kills as a 3-man team. We just fucking ripped shit up. Like, we're just hitting our shots, and yeah, it was good fun. But yeah, it just felt like we should have lost it so many fucking times, and we just got fucking lucky, which is cool. Yeah, just cool that PUBG can still do that kind of shit. Yeah. Anyway, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, I played a little bit over PUBG. The last.
And yeah, they're starting season 6 soon, I guess.
Tomorrow.
A new map. Are you there?
Hello.
Oh, you haven't spoken in so long that my headphones turned off.
Yeah. I'm here. No, I think they're starting that next week, 20th. Season 6.
Right. And it's got a new map.
Yeah, so that's in the test server now. They've added a bunch of new stuff. A new 2x2 map.
Yeah. Too small.
Yeah, they've I think I wrote here PUBG have lost the plot. I don't have the patch notes up, but I can bring them up. Anyway, it's a 2x2 map. The new changes that they've got in there is destructible environments. So that includes buildings being able to be destroyed. They've got wall penetration in there now, so certain, but basically like Rainbow Six Siege sort of wall penetration, being able to shred parts of the wall and create holes in the environment. They're adding in hatches into the game, or like destructible areas in certain parts of solid walls where you can create like entry points, or even like entries between different types of levels. So very similar to Siege. They used Siege in their patch notes. So that's kind of something that's new that's in there. They're adding in. It's not in the patch notes at the moment, but it's coming. RPGs as well, like rocket launchers into the game. A new black zone, they're calling it, which is basically the red zone, but it will destroy areas, like buildings. It'll kill buildings, which is probably I don't mind that. It's basically what the red zone should be, but I think it should be a called-in device as opposed to random, and it should be on every map as opposed to just one map. I think this is my biggest problem with these changes, is that they can't get a grasp of what they want this game to be, and so instead they've got maps, and each map has their own like thing that they're doing, and so I don't like the direction they're taking this game for the updates. Like, oh no, this map is going to have this type of weapon or mechanic, or these maps have gliders in them, or like just. If they're going to put destructibility into the game, it needs to be on across the whole game, and not just like certain maps, or certain map in particular. I think it becomes really hard for new players or newer players to get a grasp of what's going on. Like, oh, is this a wall I can shoot through? No. Okay. Is this a wall I can shoot through? No. And like if you're a brand new player that gets into this game, and you're playing that map in particular, and you're getting shot through walls, and then like trying to take that knowledge into another map, but not being told that like that's specifically only for that map. Like, you don't know that. The game doesn't tell you that. PUBG is just about like dropping in and learning the systems, and if every map's got a different system to it, it's going to be extremely hard for people to learn the game, and I think it's detrimental to your player base. PUBG's already got an issue with their player count dropping like excessively every month. I think this month and last month is the first time in a long time that they've had player increases. But since then they've had player decreases to the point where they're at the lowest player count since before the game launched, officially. And so yeah, I think this mindset of putting in updates in the game that only affect certain levels or certain missions is a mindset that needs to go. It's not helpful at all for players, and it's just like a weird implementation of like you're patching or implementing ideas just for one section of the game, and that's it. So yeah, I don't know. I don't like it. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but it just really bugs me that they're doing like it feels like a half-assed job. It feels like a typical PUBG half-assed job they're doing.
I think it's a testing ground. I think doing destructibility over a map the size of Miramar is probably something they're worried about performance-wise, and so they're refining it on something the size of, I don't know, a smaller Sandhog. Is it a smaller Sandhog? Is Sandhog 2x2?
No, Sandhog is 4.
Yeah,
This
4
is
by
smaller
4.
than Sandhog.
Yes, smaller than Sandhog. They're doing this so they can scale up from there, but I absolutely agree that it is a mistake to implement something as fundamental as wall banging on one map only. I don't have a problem with fucking gliders on other maps.
Yeah.
Being on only specific maps, I don't have a real problem with that. But yeah, wallbanging is a pretty huge deal. And like players who can wallbang, I shared a video on my Twitter of me hitting someone as Carly in Rainbow Six Siege. She's got this fucking sniper rifle that can shoot through multiple walls, and if it hits the body, it's an instant down, like every single time. And the idea I was going for with her is that the location I was aiming at is a very common hiding spot for players. It's a very common angle to hold for players in that server room on Kanal. So the idea I was going for was that if I just fucking have a potty at that corner, there's a chance that someone will be there and I might get it down. Like, because it's Carly, I might get it down. And it'll be a really a good opening. So obviously the reason I shared it is because my fuckwit Ash teammate wouldn't get the fuck out of my way. But that sort of map knowledge, that sort of fucking ability to predict that sort of thing. I remember the very first fucking Rainbow Six video I ever made was me thinking I heard something on a window outside, and so popping a fucking bullet into the window barricade and getting a headshot kill. Right? That's the very first Rainbow thing I ever shared because it was so fucking rad. Just fucking bang through the fucking window and someone dies, right? That's fucking amazing. But it rarely happens anymore. It really changes the way you think about a fucking area because you don't have hardcover is a fucking huge deal, right? And if you don't have it, it basically turns every fucking building into the equivalent of a fucking bush, an outside bush.
Yeah.
And so it radically changes how you think about a game of PUBG. And so I don't think you can implement it on a small scale without it being still fundamentally massive on such a huge level. But yeah,
I think it encourages camping a lot more with like being able to hold a house and then also putting peek holes in certain parts of the house. It's already hard enough to infiltrate a house in that game.
I'll be very interested to see how whether or not, because I don't know if you've seen, I'm sure you have. I think you watch more Rainbow Six Pro League than I do, but the new meta is those bullet hole peaks. where they're not even doing the full bash anymore. They're literally just putting a single fucking bullet through, and because of the way light propagates through certain areas, they can see the light change in these fucking warband cunts, right? Like, yeah, that's gonna happen. That's coming, 100%. Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how quickly that impacts PUBG, because it gives embedded players a huge fucking advantage. So yeah, I do think it's going to encourage camping. It's going to swing the advantage in the favor of players who get the circle.
Yeah. But at the same time, they've introduced C4 into the game, which will give, I guess, players that are stuck outside of that area an option to dismantle that house. And like, all right, well, you're going to camp in that house, then I'm going to blow your house up. Or, which is another thing why I think they need to make this black zone an item, a really rare item.
Yeah.
And like an airstrike you can call in. I don't know, maybe a flare gun, or like just make it a grenade or something. Maybe it's just a smoke grenade with red smoke or something. I don't know. You throw it at the area, it marks the area, and then that blows up, the location. Because I think at the moment it's just like it's like a red zone basically, but it just sort of pick random locations and destroy that. So I think that would be an interesting change to sort of de-emphasize. Like, at least it gives the players that are attacking an area something, but also that is maybe too overpowered at the same time. Like, I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, if the radius is too small, then can you just like camp outside of a building and throw it at another house and just wait for them to fucking leave and then just ping them all? It's really hard to balance.
Just makes me wish Firestorm hadn't shit it. Well, wish DICE hadn't shit the Firestorm bit. Yeah. Because all of this already they'd already worked it all out.
it was in Firestorm, all this stuff. But yeah, I think there's an interesting changes in this 6.1 patch, 6.1, 6.0, whatever they're going for. But I just would like them to decide, like, what is this game supposed to be. And I've seen complaints from PUBG personalities and pros talking about like, hey, I like some of the ideas here, but at the same time, it's like, why is this map so small? It's not a 100-player map anymore. This one's 64. It feels more like a team deathmatch game, not a tactical game. Like, this isn't a game that I signed up for. Like, where's my giant, big, sprawling maps? This is, completely different. And like this map in particular, there's only a very few amount of locations that are named locations that have a substantial amount of places that you can loot. And so it kind of seems like they're forcing you to land in those locations. Like, if we were to drop anywhere in that map, it seems like you're instantly in a fight. And again, it's a game about RNG, right? You probably just get the luck of the draw. Like, if you land in a house that has no no weapons in it, then you're in a lot of trouble. And again, like, this is going back to that game, but like, this map has a certain loot spawn count they're doing, and like this other map is completely different to this map, and this one's got more ARs. Like, just fucking pick something. Just give me loot and make it work properly. Like, they seem to be tweaking every single map individually, and that's like not what people want. They want to land in a map and be able to get a gun. Like, we were playing Miramar the other yesterday, and I must have went through a dozen houses, and I left Miramar without a gun that I wanted, because every single house had a shotgun or a Winchester, because they put more Winchesters in the game, and I'm like, I don't want a Winchester. Like, give me an AR. That's not why I'm here to play. It's just,
you're missing out if you're not walking out with a Winchester. That thing fucking wrecks.
I know it wrecks, but I'm playing with 180 ping, and I don't want a Winchester.
Yeah, that's true.
if I want to,
I don't like. I just don't. I'm looking at this map. I'm looking at it now, right? On the patch notes, and I just don't know where a squad would fucking land and have any faith that they could fucking like outside of the named locations. I just like, yeah, there are some named locations where I'd be like,
where do I
if
go?
you landed here alone, you might not walk out with enough fucking gear. Right? Like if you if you landed at cargo ship with a squad of 4, right? If that is the same size as the cargo ship on fucking Sandhawk, you are not getting enough fucking gear off that fucking boat. Because there's barely enough gear for 2 people on the ships, on the boats, on at docks on Sandhawk.
Right.
Barely enough. So yeah, if it's the same size, you're never getting enough loot for like a squad of 4. People are walking out with nothing. Tension of Miramar combined with the pace of Sandhawk. That feels like their mission statement. That feels like they're fucking, this is what we want. We want the tension of Miramar and the pace of Sandhawk. And it feels like we're going back to fucking Remnant thing, where they don't understand why one is the way it is. Because I don't think you can have the tension of Miramar with the pace of Sandhawk, because the tension of Miramar hinges off the pace of Miramar, right? Like, so yeah, you don't have the tension of Miramar if it has the pace of Sandhawk. You get to you pick one, motherfuckers. You don't have both, right? Unless, and it feels like they fundamentally misunderstand the fucking nature of their own fucking game.
Yeah, and they're removing. Yeah. Well, now they're saying they've got too many maps, and so they're removing maps from the rotations now. So Vikendi's been removed. The last map they released has been removed from the pool at the moment, which is a weird choice. I like Vikendi. I don't know where they're getting these stats from. If it's people joining games and then leaving because it's there, or like I don't know what it is, or it's just like I know in some of the bigger regions you can actually choose what maps you want to play. So maybe that's what it is, but for maps where you get like randomly given a map, it's now gone. You can still play in custom modes and whatnot. But for the most part, they're getting rid of it. It seems like they're going to tweak it, but yeah. Fundamentally, again, I think I've disagreed with the way they've handled map selection. Anyway, I don't think you should be able to choose what maps you want to play. Just play the fucking map you're given.
I will quit Sandhawk every single fucking time.
We hot drop in Sandhawk.
I don't even like to do that. It's still a 60-minute wait until the fucking server's ready to go, and then another 60 seconds. Like, fuck that shit. Just a hot drop? Fucking.
We usually win though. That's the problem.
I posted. Yeah, we win the hot drop. Yeah, that's fucking infuriating. I posted a thing, and like so many pro players like agreed. I posted like the sad face whenever you get Sandhawk. Click the bad experience. Posted that, and on my Twitter, and so many fucking pro players agreed. People don't like Sandhawk, but or people who like are good at PUBG don't like Sandhawk. Because it's not the PUBG experience. Like they like it for what. Like I know a lot of them like it for what it is.
Like the pace,
which is yeah. But it's not the PUBG experience. They don't like it for the PUBG experience. They like it for something divorced from the PUBG experience. Fuck Sandhawk.
Because I think the problem with Sandhawk is you stand on a hill and you look, or you stand in a location and you look around and it's like, I can get shot from fucking anywhere. Like, I feel like I can get pinged from every single place I'm standing at. There's like no cover. But I like the pace of the circle and that sort of thing, keep things moving. Man, I don't know about you, but rounding up some of the guys, like we were playing yesterday on Miramar, and they were looting outside the spawn zone for about, I don't know, a minute and a half or something. I'm just like, let's go. Like, what are we doing? Why are we still looting? Let's get out of here.
You got no third-person crew loves looting. I think they're playing a looting game, and occasionally there's some shooting.
Yeah. Whereas I'm like, I'm looted up. Let's go. Like you guys, I'm looting this town by myself, and I finished the whole town, and there's 3 of you looting one area, and you're still going. Like, what the fuck? What are you doing over there? This is insane. Let's go shoot some people. That's what we're playing the game for.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't think we can not talk about PUBG without talking about our win last night, which you were not in. you were listening.
I was listening to. Yeah. That video is one of the best things I've ever seen. It's spectacular. I honestly think Squirrel might be one of. He's like that fucking. You see those videos of that dude who plays tennis, like, but he's a clown.
Yeah.
He's like
No,
so
you're saying that Gavin's good.
He's so good at tennis that he looks like the fucking worst player alive. And I think that's Gavin. I think Grey Squirrel is the greatest player alive. And instead of like turning that into esports glory, he's instead decided to use that to troll the fuck out of us at every fucking opportunity anytime he plays a fucking game. Because there's no way anyone is that bad at a game by accident. Like he is just awful. He is that awful, and so, but he still manages to fucking Mr. Magoo's way. In the video in question, he is running through an open field, throwing fucking spike traps at nothing, while he's the last person alive. He nearly runs into his own fucking grenade somehow, and then still manages to get a fucking chicken dinner. Like, inexplicable. He throws 3 spike traps while standing in the middle of a fucking open field with one other person alive. Somehow comes away with the win.
I think because the person didn't heal themselves.
Oh, never healed themselves, so they never got the opportunity. They're too busy.
I don't think they healed themselves because I was relaying information. I got knocked. Gavin ran off by himself to one side of the map. People started shooting, and I'm like asking everybody who we're shooting at, and no one would tell me.
Right. Yeah.
And then someone said to the west. I looked to the west, and there was no one there. And I started getting shot from, I don't know, the like north, somewhere north. A dude ran out from the zone. So then he got me, and then they were running in from outside the zone. They got, I think 2 of their guys went down, and then it was just Gavin left outside. Like he was inside the zone, but shooting at this other dude. But I was crawling back into the zone. And I could see the other guy like running from hay bale to hay bale, like getting into the zone, then getting outside the zone. And so I was like relaying information, being like, all right, he's out of the zone, he's at the hay bale. All right, now he's in, but he's on the left-hand side of the hay bale. So I think he took a bunch of damage, and then threw some smoke grenades, and then ran behind the next hay bale, heard the spike traps going, and was very confused, and so he didn't heal.
Right. That's possible. It's definitely possible. He takes blue damage. Gavin actually hits him once, and then Gavin finishes it with a headshot to a level 3 helmet. Yeah, you must be right. The level 3 helmet, he fires. Hip fires.
Yeah, I fucking hate people who hip fire. And the worst part is, Wacky Jackie put out a video like last week talking about how good hip firing is, and I'm like, no, don't tell these dickheads that hip fire is any good, because you're Wacky Jackie and you're a good shot, so yes, your hip fire is going to be pretty good, but don't tell these guys they can hip fire now, because I fucking get on them every time they hip fire at someone, and there's bullets spraying all over the place, and they can't hold their own recoil. Oh. So yeah, he hip fires and headshots the guy. I don't think the crosshair's even on the guy when he headshots him.
Not even close. Not even fucking close. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Like, you can't be accidentally that brilliant. Right? Like, you can't be both that comically inept and successful at the same time by accident. I think there's just, like, if that was the first time he'd ever done something like this, maybe it would be possible, but it's just not. He is routinely capable of Mr. Magooing his way into victory. It's inconceivable. Now, he's like the fucking king of failing forward. It's staggering.
Yeah, I think I said this last night. Like, he's been playing this game for 2 years and he doesn't know how to change grenades. Like, it's probably his most played game over 2 years, and he doesn't know how to change grenades. Oh, so rather than figuring out how to change grenades, he just throws spike traps on the ground. So
why was he carrying 3 spike traps? It doesn't make any sense.
We weren't even near a road.
You don't even. I don't even pick up 1 spike trap. Why has he got 3 of them? Oh. Anyway, that's PUBG. Starcom Nexus. Oh, you want to talk about games that Grey Squirrel's fucking awful at? Starcom Nexus. Holy shit. I do not understand. At one point, he shared a fucking photo of his spaceship. Starcom Nexus is a space game that is sort of like, I guess, you know, the part of Mass Effect where you fly from planet to planet and do like a mineral scan?
Yeah.
This is the worst pitch for a video game of all time. But it's basically that.
You know, the worst part of Mass Effect? We're going to make that a video game.
It's basically that. But there's also, like, it's also a top-down sort of twin-stick shooter. When I say twin-stick shooter, it's got those trappings, but it doesn't play that way because you can't remap the controls. So it doesn't have... If you play it on controller, you can't, like, move to the top left of your screen by like, holding up and left on your thumbstick. It's got that sort of... You rotate. It's got, like, tank turning. So you were just way better off playing with mouse and keyboard if you're playing on PC. I don't know if it's on other fucking platforms, but if you're playing on PC, you just fucking play with mouse and keyboard. It's just a headache to play with a fucking controller. If you could remap the controllers, I'd probably play it on controller. But yeah, seeing how you can't, just don't.
Yeah.
And okay, well, yeah, just play mouse and keyboard. But it plays really well once you get your head around that and once you're playing on mouse and keyboard. It's tank turning, so that's how you move, is by pressing W to go forward and A and D to turn. You shoot in any direction your cursor is aiming, so that's easy enough. That's fine. And yeah, there's a little bit of combat, but by and large, it is a space exploration game. Yeah, you go basically from star system to star system, discovering and uncovering this galaxy. You start the game as this tiny little shuttle, basically like the fucking space janitor, and you're tasked with clearing all these asteroids out of the way. You got to destroy all these asteroids, and while you're destroying asteroids, you're destroying asteroids because they make it harder for the big capital ships to move through an area. So you're basically killing asteroids so that other bigger ships can do cool things. But after a short amount of time of destroying asteroids, something happens, and so you get teleported essentially to a different part of the space, or a different time space. Not where are we, but when are we? And also where are we? And yeah, exactly. And yeah, you've got to. It's like you know, you got to work out where you are and what's going on, and you're immediately hailed by like a hostile alien, and you fight them off, and then you find that the space station that you're like recruited by, or that you're a part of, that's also been teleported as well, and you go find that. They sort of task you as their only mobile starship. You're sort of sent out to go and work out what's going on. And as you go, you find like there are like warp points or teleport points and stuff like that, and you sort of that unlocks larger areas, and you're able to like build your ship to get bigger and add more guns, and it's got like a customizable ship option, so you can build the ship however you want, although there are restrictions on what you can do with your ship. But yeah, like, the bigger your ship, the slower it goes. So you're gonna add more engines, but engines cost like build points, and so there's this balancing act between like having as large a ship as possible, but also not sacrifice, like making it so heavy that it doesn't move. And you've got like energy use to sort of account for every time you fire your blaster or use your space boosters, your afterburners. That uses energy, but you can actually get to a point where your afterburners, like you've got enough energy generation, like basically engines, batteries. You can install enough batteries so that your afterburners don't actually like do anything. Like they don't cost you any energy. Essentially, you're at like net positive for energy. And so there's this balancing act where you can actually just boost your way fucking everywhere, and it sort of radically changes how you look at like what your starship design is. Because if you can boost everywhere, then suddenly, like your minimum speed is actually your boosted speed. If that makes sense, like you don't need to worry about ever not being on boost. Like you're basically better off always being on boost because it doesn't cost you anything to move. So yeah, you sort of like that changes the way you look at your starship, and that's pretty cool. And then you can get to a point where your plasma blasters don't cost you any energy, provided you've got enough batteries, and so that changes the way you look at things. And yeah, like there's all this stuff about ship customization that radically changes the way you look at ship customization as you grow and grow and grow. And at the same time, yeah, you're adding more stuff. You're taking into account stuff. Drew. Oh yeah, so to go back to Squirrel being the fucking worst player at video games of all time, he got 15 hours into this game, and he was still in the starting shuttle, which I think has 2 plasma blasters that you can fire for 5 seconds before they've used all of their fucking energy.
Yeah.
And by the same time, I think I was like 3/4 of the way through the game, but he had barely made it a quarter because he wasn't able to fucking move anywhere with any fucking speed. He was like speed locked and unable to take on larger fucking enemies because every time he'd run into him, he'd get fucking blasted, blitzed. Like he was just getting fucked up. Because he was in the fucking starting shuttle. And like, how do you miss that?
He wasn't reading text apparently.
Because he was never reading any of the text. It was fucking insane. Because that's the thing about Starcom Nexus is that you have to basically read everything, and it doesn't. It's we're very used to being fucking hand fed everything in video games. Starcom Nexus doesn't, absolutely doesn't, and you can fuck your game up pretty hard by not doing it. I had to. So one example is there's these bird aliens, and so you can go to their home location, and I did that. And when I did that, I hadn't been reading as diligently as I should have been, so I didn't make a connection. I knew that they shouldn't be enemies at all times, but I answered some questions incorrectly, and they became enemies at all times. So I reloaded my save, which is a bit of a pain because it sent me back a good 5 minutes of space travel. But I went through what I had because what they were talking about, they were like, what are the stars like? If you aren't the big bad evil thing in this galaxy, and you have actually found us by, using our long forgotten travel logs, then you should know our historical names. The historical names we've given to star systems that we designated as potential nest sites, and yeah. the word nest in that is enough for you to then go and find the correct answers, right? But you have to be paying attention. This was a particularly tricky one, I think, in the sense that the like a single word nest is not a lot, and the nest designation, the nest status designations are in a bunch of like meaningless text, which it's a bit of a fucking dick punch. But it was sort of an eye opener to me that I had to be reading fucking everything, and it did change the way I looked at a lot of other stuff. That I may have brute forced my way through some stuff previously, and then after that, I was pretty diligent about reading everything. And so when I came across stuff, I was able to work out what the fuck I would need from there on. There were still a number of situations I ran into. There's still a bit of brute force, even after even if you're diligent, because there's quite a bit of backtracking that you wind up needing to do, which is probably my biggest criticism with the game, is that inevitably you wind up in a situation where backtracking is the entire game experience. Like, it's not just I guess it's not just a possible way forward. It is the only way forward. So it loops back on itself a couple of times as you sort of explore more and more, and you unlock the secrets of this galaxy and the secrets of the story and what's happened here and all this kind of stuff. And you get to a point where you have to basically talk to all the different races you've met, and you have to basically they hold the key to solving the, I guess, end game puzzle. But then even after you've done that, it seems like you also need to do more backtracking, or like have very diligently marked certain things on the game map when you couldn't have known that they would be important. So it feels like the game has a fantastic like marking system, like gives you the ability to really easily put notes down on space, and like if you see something interesting that you want to come back to later, you can really easily mark it, and it makes a very clear like icon on the star map, and you are able to walk from one fucking edge of the galaxy to the other in like a fucking heartbeat, which is easy and quick, maybe a tiny bit drawn out, but like you got to go to these stargates essentially to do it, or they call Nexus points, but I guess it's part of the name of the game. But yeah, once you get to these Nexus points, you can walk basically anywhere on the fucking map, and it's easy to do, and it's not annoying. But knowing where to go can be annoying, because it's not, if you haven't been putting those markers down, if you haven't been marking the map, and you don't know that you need to until it's, in my opinion, too late, unless you are doing it for some other reason. Like, the game doesn't teach you to do this, and it should teach you a lot earlier to be doing this whenever you find a point of interest, because there is a very sort of linear progression to the way that you move around the map, and it sort of then loops back on itself, right? Like, it then has you go back to the start of this linear progression, and now you've got more knowledge, and so that you look at everything a little bit different, and that like widens your field of view. Basically, you're able to see more out of what you're seeing, out of what you're discovering and stuff, which is, I think, a really cool fucking design. But what it does when the third loop happens, it doesn't start you back at the start. It has you just go to a bunch of different points, right? And you don't know where those points are. So you could find it again by going through the linear progression, but there's nothing more to learn out of that. You won't get anything more until you get to those specific points. So it's literally just backtracking for the sake of backtracking, which is a bit annoying. So yeah, the last fifth of the game is a bit of a slog in that sense. But I'd also, by that point, I'd unlocked as much as I figured I could. There were a couple of things I hadn't fucking found, but yeah, like I settled on a ship design that was literally unbeatable, and that felt really good, and all that kind of stuff. I discovered all the planets, all the star systems rather, and I'd gone to every planet. I'd solved a bunch of these mysteries, and what Starcom Nexus does really fucking amazing is it makes you feel like you are. They're not puzzles, right? These aren't puzzles that you're working out. There are a couple of puzzles, but they like by and large they're not puzzles that you're working out. They're mysteries that you're solving, right? Like you are. It's a fucking murder mystery where you're given enough information and then you're tasked with finding the killer. Except it's not a killer. It's like a space virus or some other shit, and it feels like you're solving these mysteries, and it fucking does it amazingly. And the whole time that you're solving these mysteries, you're going like from star system to star system, discovering new shit. You're like flying to a star system, and there's like a white dwarf that's about to go supernova or something, and it makes all the colors in that area like weird. Or you fly into a star system and there's a super giant star, and it is like if you accidentally go even a little bit close to it, you will fucking like your ship will just die, like straight up. Just it's too big a star, and you couldn't have known before you got there. And you fly in, and yeah, you like see your fucking health just shitting its pants, and you're like, fuck, and you got to get the fuck out. And then, but you still got to explore this star system because it's got this stuff there, and you got to fucking get to the planets, and you got to fucking work out the mystery of the star system. You like work it out, and yeah, there are star systems. There's blue stars and red stars, and every single time you go to somewhere else, or twin stars, and like it just fucking feels like you're actually an explorer discovering amazing new fucking places, and it does that so fucking well. And there's like all these little tiny puzzles that you gotta like that are largely inconsequential, but you have to fucking solve, and they're all like intuitive on the face of them, superficially intuitive. So when you do solve these little puzzles, it feels like super logical, and it makes the bigger mysteries that you solve feel that much more bigger because you sort of get this fucking world, right? And yeah, it's fucking rad, all right? And it all hinges on you paying enough attention along the way to have gotten the information required to solve the mysteries. And you can everything you discover is logged and stored, all that kind of stuff. So you can search through your own logs and you search nest and find the nests, or for some of the other ones, you can find the required fucking information that you need later on. And it does a fucking brilliant job of, allowing you to feel like you solved all this shit on your own. And the world building's fantastic. I turned the music off. I played the Interstellar soundtrack and the Ad Astra soundtrack while I was playing, and it was fucking perfect. The amount of times the soundtracks lined up with whatever I was doing, were like, I know it was obviously a mad coincidence, but like I'd be like I'm flying through some fucking nebula, which is basically like cloudy area of space, and I've got no idea what's going to be on the other side of this nebula, and I'm just fucking flying through, and like the Interstellar soundtrack is playing that fucking song where Matt Damon betrays everyone, and you're like, I'm tense as fuck. What the fuck is going to be on the other side? And you get through the fucking other side, and yeah, surprise, surprise. Just as the crescendo hits that song, like fucking you bust through the nebula and you get fucked by like 16 billion fucking sentient robots. Like, fuck. But it's like it works, and everything works. Like every little discovery is fucking amazing, and it just feels like they didn't know how to finish it, I guess. But it took me fucking 24 hours to get to the point where I was annoyed by the last 5th or 10th of the game. And the rest of it's fucking amazing. So yeah, I 100% think people should fucking
check it out.
Get into it. Yeah, it's well worth it.
Yeah. So it's on Steam. It is available for $20 US. You can find it on there.
Totally worth it.
Yeah, and it's just come out it's going on, I guess it was in early access at some stage.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been out for about a month now, so you can definitely check that one out.
Yep.
All right, should we do some news?
Let's do some news.
Yeah, I think it's everything.
That's it.
Checking the list. All right, not a ton of news, but there's a little bit here. We've got Sony has decided to skip E3 again this year. I don't know. It wasn't surprising for me that this is happening.
No.
I guess because like the way a lot of these conventions work is you kind of sign on. You're given floor space, and if you don't come back one year, you lose that floor space, and then somebody else can sign on and take it. Obviously, Sony is a massive name, and I don't know if the ESA would be like, actually, you can't come back anymore. We've given you floor space away. But like I feel like that them saying like them not coming one year is a big deal. Like they would have made that decision like we're not coming because we're not coming for a while, or we're not coming back ever. That's the type of decision you make when you leave E3. So for me, it wasn't a massive surprise, but still, people were making a big deal out of it. They've obviously got a new console coming out this year, and it sounds like they're going to be focusing more on consumer events or their own sort of pop-up events that they'll be doing. I think there's an event next month, early next month, that they'll be showing some stuff off. I think that's where that Elden Ring is coming from.
Right.
But anyway, doesn't sound like it was very surprising to you either.
No, not at all. I think E3 is sort of over. It's dead. You know. I know a lot of people. I know a lot of younger writers are disappointed. Because I think E3 was the dream for a long time, but it's just not worth the effort for a lot of people. And I mean, last year after Nate's first and only trip to E3, they fucking doxed him. That was sort of it for E3 in my opinion. I was never going back. I know Nate definitely isn't going back. But with PlayStation out, I know Xbox is keen to continue to do it, continue to support it, but that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy for Xbox as well. They have the Microsoft Theater next door to where the E3 Convention Center is, the LA Convention Center. And in the past, well, at least the year that I went, not last year, the year before, they had set up the Microsoft Theater as like this is where you can come and do all your interviews, and like all the games are here that you can play. So like they've basically got a free theater they can just set up and do it at E3 anyway, and then have a consumer stand inside. And that's kind of the problem where E3's run into, is that they can't decide whether they want to be a consumer show or if they want to be a media press buyer show type thing, like an industry show. They're in this weird middle ground where they don't really know what they want to do, and they still don't really know what they want to do, which is why places like PAX are so successful, or even like Gamescom, Gamescom does a thing where it's like, all right, there's press days, and there's your press day, and then the rest of it is all public.
They do press day for the show floor, but they also have the fucking business area where,
People are making.
If you're there as press, you fucking never have to go out onto the show floor. You see everything at basically the same thing that Xbox did with their theater. Every single person, every single publisher, developer has at game, which is fucking amazing. It's so much better. Yeah.
So I don't know if it's going to be a big it's obviously not going to be a big blow from them. Kind of prepare for this ESA, but I don't know if we've had any big names drop out yet for this year, but I guess we'll wait and see what happens for E3. But it's definitely going ahead this year. Next up, Batman Arkham Origins developer is teasing a new Batman game.
I just don't care anymore. Fucking.
It feels like they were about to announce something last year.
Yeah.
At maybe the Game Awards.
Yeah.
And then they decided not to.
That is what it feels like.
But now they're teasing it again. And yet we've not heard anything yet.
Shit will get off the pot, motherfuckers. I'm done caring. Wake me up when they fucking have anything to show.
I don't like the strategy that they're going for. Like, just announce it. Like, you're losing your thunder by doing this, by milking it.
Yeah.
Did you see this? They've got like the image that the 2 images they put out. Oh, they put out more than 2. They're doing like weird things where you combine images and it makes like a little logo thing. But they also released this wheel thing where the logos fit in the wheel, and there's like fucking 9 more slots in this wheel. So what, are they going to be teasing this game every month for the next 9 months or something? I don't know. I don't know who's doing the marketing over there, but they've
you want your reveal for a game to be like, what? No way, not. Fucking finally. Well done for fucking getting there eventually.
Yeah, it's not doing very well. So hopefully they just give up whatever they're trying to do and just show the game or give us the CG trailer that you're obviously going to drop at some stage. Next up, we got Vince Zampella will be heading up LA Dice or Dice LA. Can't remember which one it is. And we're working on an unannounced game. He won't be leaving Respawn as the CEO, but he'll be heading up Dice's Los Angeles studio. I mean, the guy's on a bit of a roll, I would say. He's done some good games. Obviously, the Call of Duty, and going back to Modern Warfare, and then coming out with things like Titanfall, Titanfall 2, and then obviously Apex Legends has done really well. Jedi Fallen Order has done really well in terms of sales and critically. So, man, whatever, I guess, he's doing, EA's pretty happy with him helming another studio. But we don't know what that is yet, that game. Do you have any ideas what you'd like to see from DICE?
DICE LA, I'm not sure. I think maybe a Medal of Honor. I reckon that'd be pretty fun.
Well, they're making
I know they're doing
their
Respawn's making their VR Medal of Honor. I want to see a fucking proper Medal of Honor, I think.
What if he's doing future Battlefield? Like
Battlefield 2143.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty fucking cool.
I would his Titanfall experience. Boom.
If like imagine the Titan mode in Battlefield 2142 with Titans. Combine them, Titanfall and Titans. That would be a bit confusing, but I don't know. I like that. I like it. I play it.
Do it.
Yep.
Yeah. And next up is...
Don't launch with a Battle Royale mode. Just launch one 6 months later and really shit the bed with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Patch it twice and then give up. All right, and the next one feels like we've been talking about since we started this podcast. Uncharted movie has lost its 6th director, Travis Knight. But that hasn't stopped more rumors scrolling up, which is Ruben Flesher.
I don't know who this is.
So he's a director of he did the original Zombieland and Zombieland 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right.
But most recently, you may recognize his work as the director of Venom.
Zombieland 2 is more recent than Venom, but that doesn't bode well. I haven't watched Zombieland 2. Is that any good?
I've not watched it yet either.
Yeah, that doesn't bode well for it either. Well, heck, huh? Yeah.
Anyway, do you think this film's like at some stage, like Tom Holland is apparently still attached to play Nathan Drake?
Right. He's gonna be fucking Sully by the time they film it.
Well, this is the funny thing, is that I'm pretty sure when we first started talking about this,
I'm just making this is the Mark Wahlberg thing.
Mark Wahlberg was attached to it to be Nathan Drake, but now he's attached to play Sully.
That is fucking amazing. Yeah.
So
that is gold. Oof.
But I don't think this films. There's something wrong, right? What is going on?
They're like, it can't just be an Indiana Jones film. Like, tell me that's not the games aren't just Indiana Jones under a different license, are they? And then they're like, yeah, that's kind of it. That's that's what they are. And they're like, yeah, Universal's gonna sue our fucking pants off. So I think we can do that. We're gonna make it different enough. Either that or Tom Cruise keeps doing every single massive set piece that they want to do. And like, it's already been done in Mission Impossible. Back to the drawing board. And by the time they come out with another big set piece, Tom Cruise has done it again. Like, fuck's sake.
Who keeps talking to Tom?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a Naughty Dog thing. Like, Naughty Dog is not happy with what they're doing because
right.
I'm pretty sure wasn't. I feel like Naughty Dog had a hand in a lot of this. Like Neil Druckmann was the writer at some stage or producer. I'm trying to find see if I can find some information on it. But yeah, there's obviously something going on if you're having all these directors drop out due to creative differences, and yet it's not getting anywhere in this film. So yeah, I don't know. Anyway, it's strange. I'm sure we hear about a new director being attached and then leaving. Maybe they'll just like fuck it. The Venom guy would just do whatever we want. Like, just give it to him.
Yeah. Just get it out there.
Just give us our money. All right.
It can't be worse than the Assassin's Creed film.
Oh, it could be.
It could be.
It could be. I mean, what's worse, Warcraft or Assassin's Creed?
Or
the new Doom movie. I haven't seen the new Doom one yet.
No, neither have I.
Doom 2, not Doom. Doom 2, the new Doom 2 movie. It's on Netflix.
Yep, I haven't seen it yet.
I'm sure it's
stellar.
Terrible.
Stellar.
All right, and that's the news. That's the news of the year.
That's the podcast.
We're done. All right, let's. I haven't done this for a while, so I've forgotten it all. You can find The Gap on iTunes, Android, Windows Store, Spotify, YouTube. Did I say that already? I can't remember. We're on all those platforms, including many, many more. If you want to help us out, you can rate and review the show. Helps other people find it, because sometimes it can be quite tricky. But we appreciate everyone that does that. If you'd like to send us any questions, you can email us, thegapodcast@gmail.com, or you can jump onto our Discord page, thegapodcast.com/Discord. You can tell us your favorite moments of any of the podcasts you've listened to. Any memories you've got would be something we can read out next week when we do our 500th episode. But yeah, you can go to that link there. That'll open things up for you. Otherwise, you can just play games. Maybe you want to see the master in his domain and play with Gavin in PUBG. Just watch him throw spike traps everywhere.
Yes.
You can do that if you want. Otherwise, you can find our social media, facebook.com/GA podcast, twitter.com/GA podcast. You can find us on YouTube, thegapodcast.com/YouTube, and our website is thegapodcast.com, which has...
loop where you just keep saying this shit.
What?
You just keep fucking looping back, saying all this. I said YouTube like 16 times now.
Oh yeah, you can find us on the gapodcast.com/YouTube, and our website, gapodcast.com, has links to all the things we talked about, including past episodes of the show, and our YouTube page is also up there if you want to try and find that as well. But you can also become a Patreon subscriber if you want to help support the show. You can go to patreon.com/GApodcast and become a recurring subscriber. You get this podcast a day or two early sometimes. If you'd like to do that, you can help support the show. Please don't, if it's going to harm you in any way financially, please don't do it. We don't want any of that to happen to you. But otherwise, we appreciate everyone's support every month for helping us run things like the website. Greatly appreciate that.
Yes.
I think that is it. Have you got anything you'd like to spruik out? Maybe your Twitter account. People can watch your videos.
Go check out my Twitter at JobyJojo, and yeah, that's about it.
For me, you can find me at twitter.com/Luke Lawrie. Not really posting much up there, but you can go check that one out. But otherwise, I think that is it for us this episode 1 of the year. It was a little bit long, but we had a lot to talk about. A lot of things.
Yes.
A lot of things we played during the break. So much more to come next week. As I said, we'll probably talk about some more PUBG. We'll get some that new update going. A few other games we can talk about, and then we'll do some maybe some like things we're looking forward to for this year. New consoles, new games, and then we'll go from there. So thanks everyone for listening. Back next week.
Yep.